The Iowa Hawkeyes are embraced, ensconced in a sense of unity as well as destiny, basking in the glow of an unprecedented run of success during Kirk Ferentz's regime so far. The Hawkeyes, who are now embracing the notion that the road to Pasadena might take a circuitous but welcome detour through Iowa City. Up on the scope next for the Hawkeyes, the Spartans. That's next. Welcome everyone to Kinnick Stadium here in Iowa City, Iowa, the corner of Melrose and Hawkins. Area code 319 for the 5-1 Hawkeyes and the Michigan State Spartans. In any area code, the Hawkeyes right now playing like champions, 2-0 in the Big Ten, and the fans abuzz with anticipation for today's matchup with the Spartans. Hello everybody, I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey for this, the 36th meeting between these two teams. And Bob, when you look at the components, you start with Michigan State. Charles Rogers might be arguably the best player in all of college football.
Mark, this is a strong opinion, but I'm going to hit it with you right away. In my opinion, Charles Rogers may be the most talented, dynamic player in all of football, including the NFL. The problem Michigan State has, though, is that Iowa has a lot of weapons. Fred Russell, the tailback, is averaging 144 yards a game rushing. Brad Banks, the quarterback, #1 in the Big Ten in pass efficiency. Dallas Clark, the tight end, last week 2 touchdown catches, one of them 95 yards. And don't forget about the kicker. Nate Kading has made 14 straight field goals.
A great weapon in his own right. Special teams always taking a big toll in this game. The weather, 58 degrees. It has been overcast for most of the morning. The temperature is expected to drop just a little bit. And rain is also in the forecast. That would have a definitive effect, you would think, on the passing attack of the Spartans. Iowa won the toss and decided to receive the opening kickoff. Back deep, Jermel Lewis at the 8. Lewis out to the 26-yard line, and that's where the Hawkeyes will begin their first series of the ball game. But first, let's go downstairs to Holly Rowe.
Thank you, Mark. Michigan State has had the luxury of playing their first 5 games at home. Today is their first test on the road in conference play. In the last 2 seasons under Bobby Williams, it's a place they've struggled. Just 1 in 7 in the Big Ten Conference road games. 2 of the reasons, poor field goal kicking, just 5 of 11 from field goals, and turnovers. 24 turnovers on the road, averaging 3 a game. For Michigan State, today simply is the key to eliminating turnovers.
Right, Holly, they have 16 players that have never been to Iowa City before, out of the 64 making the trip. First down and 10 for Iowa. Banks rolls out to pass. And this is where he can make some big plays, falling forward to the 32-yard line. Banks completing almost 60% of his passes on the season. A great number, 12 touchdowns versus just 2 interceptions. A look at the Best Buy backs and receivers: Russell, Cervantes, Jones, Hinkle, and Clark. A great weapon, Bob.
Clark last week marked 95 yards and the game-winning touchdown on a 7-yard touchdown catch.
Second down and 5 after that Banks run. Fred Russell and Cervantes lining up out of the eye. Clark in motion. It's going to be Russell. Looking for room and brought down at the 34-yard line. Sets up the 3rd down and about 2. Let's take a look at the offensive line. A very talented, big, athletic offensive line for Iowa.
Key to their football team. They take a lot of pride in this offensive line, and they should. They carry the weight of this football team on their shoulders.
For the defensive line for the Spartans, pass rushing needs to get just a bit better up front, a little more pressure. 3rd down and about 2 to go. Jackson and Clark, 2 tight ends in the formation. 3rd down and 2. That's Jones in motion. Banks almost intercepted by Demario Suggs, and he had nothing but real estate ahead of him. It'll be 4th down, and the Hawkeyes will have to punt. Look at the linebackers. Labinjo, Wedlow, and Stanley Labinjo's been moved around a lot this year. And the safeties have been one of the strengths of the secondary, Wright and Harmon. 4th down, David Bradley into punt. And a bit of a slump of late, and back deep is Zeal Kavanaugh, standing at his own 26. Punting into the wind is Bradley. Kavanaugh taking it on the run out to the 38, and there's a flag down on the field. So for just the second time this season, Iowa failing to score on its first possession.
Marking an interesting decision by Iowa. They won the toss, took the football. Iowa could have chosen to take the wind in the first quarter.
Interference with the opportunity. Violation of the 2-yard belt. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Jeff Smoker, the starting quarterback, 12 touchdown passes versus 7 interceptions. He threw 8 interceptions all of last year. The backs and receivers brought to you by Best Buy, Moss, Goebel, Rogers, Kavanaugh, and Randall, the tight end. The toss is to Moss. Moss coming off a big game a couple of weeks ago against Northwestern, got about 6. Look at the Best Buy offensive line. Booker, Tate, Otney, Whitaker, and Stewart up front.
All 5 starters back from a year ago, but they still need to be consistent.
Up front for Iowa in the trenches, Hodges, Klaus, Cole, and Babineau, a guy who's starting to come on. Second down and 4. Rogers split to the bottom of your screen, but they run it with Moss. Moss has the first down and is tackled near the 40-yard line. Let's take a look at the linebackers for the Hawkeyes. Barr, the team's leading tackler, joined by Steen and Worthy. And the secondary, led by Bob Sanders, a great hitter, but what about the corners, Bob?
We know that's the Achilles heel of this defense. They will be tested today, and tested big time, because number 1's on the opposite side, Charles Rogers.
See what kind of special wrinkles Norm Parker might have concocted this week for number 1 right there. First down and 10 for Michigan State on their opening possession of the ball game. Little play fake by Smoker. Fires complete. Down to the 32-yard line, that's B.J. Lovett. And B.J. Lovett, along with Zeal Kavanaugh, expected to take some of the load off of Rogers, Bob.
Anytime you have a dynamic player like Charles Rogers, I can understand why Jeff Smoker wants to utilize him. The coaching staff wants to get the ball in his hands. The other receivers, B.J. Lovett, Kavanaugh, have to step up and take advantage of their opportunities. That's a good sign right there for Michigan State to get some balance early in this football game.
Second down and 1 for the Spartans. Moss again. It's been a steady diet of Moss here in the early going on the opening drive. Plowing his way down to the 26-yard line. And let's go back to Reese in the studio.
All right, Mark, this is the day we've been looking forward to for quite a while. 6 games matching teams in the top 25, several other marquee games on the docket. It might not be the ultimate judgment day, but there will be some sentences passed on this Saturday, and that's why we're here. Keep an eye on everything for you. You won't miss a thing while you're watching Michigan State and Iowa. We'll watch the rest of the games, provide plenty of cut-ins for you on a big college football Saturday.
All right, Reese, bringing law and order to the college football world on Judgment Saturday. First down and 10. Moss cutting it back nicely. And he has the ability to run around and over people. That time over Pagel, the free safety. But Moss out of the gate quickly here.
Mark, Dwayne Moss, a fullback last year, lost 30 pounds to become a tailback, and he shows his cutback ability right there. The total package, Michigan State's coaches love the work ethic of Charles Rogers. Not the most aggressive block, but he did get in the way of B.J. Johnson.
6'4". Seems to do it pretty well. Second down and 4. Backs out of the eye. A little motion up front by Jason Randall, the tight end for the Spartans.
Mark, let's go back to Iowa's decision when they won the toss at the start of this football game. A lot of teams in a windy situation.
Ball start offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Would defer their choice and let the other team make the decision and ultimately take the football so that you would have the wind in the first quarter. Iowa chooses to take the football, subsequently going against the wind in the first quarter. Huge advantage right here for Michigan State.
Iowa forced to punt on its first offensive possession just a few moments ago. Second down and 9. Ryan Woods lined up in the backfield along with Dwan Moss, number 89. And Bobby Williams' team playing on the road for the first time in 6 games this year. They call a timeout. Just Smoker coming to the sideline to vibe with the brain trust. And we're going to take a short break just underway here in Iowa City. We'll be right back. Back here at Kinnick Stadium, Mark Jones along with Bob Davey and Holly Rowe down to the field. Michigan State trying to win for the first time here since 1989, doing a good job on the ground so far. Although at times this year, the running game has struggled for Michigan State. Second down and 9. That's Ryan Woods in motion. Smoker. Incomplete at the 14-yard line to B.J. Lovett. Lovett looking for a flag, but he won't get one. It'll be third down and long. Antoine Allen, number 20, helped break it up.
This all starts with really excellent protection right here for Jeff Smoker. He throws the football, a good throw to B.J. Lovett, but give Antoine Allen credit for staying with it and stripping that football out of there at the last second.
Michigan State now with 5 receivers, an empty formation. Rogers in the slot to the right, the bottom of your screen. Smoker goes right back to Lovett for the completion. It'll be first down and goal for the Spartans. Sanders made the tackle on the play. Lovett a big target at 6'3".
The reason Lovett comes open, you are going to see Iowa double cover Charles Rogers and single cover the other 3 receivers. This gives B.J. Lovett a chance to come open for the completion right here. Michigan State has seen an awful lot of overloaded coverages. That's why it's so important that those other receivers step up. So far, B.J. Lovett taking opportunities and making the best of it.
Impressive opening drive so far by Michigan State. A flag down, Moss down, and the ball coming loose. Spartans recovering back at the 9. Jason Randall pouncing on the loose ball. Looked like there was a little motion there on the right side of the line. And it's against Michigan State again. Their second penalty of the ball game so far. Penalties an issue last week with Kirk Ferentz's team. They were unable to get into any early offensive rhythm because of a spat of penalties.
Illegal formation on the offense. Not enough men on the line of scrimmage. The penalty is declined. Third down.
Nose of the ball back at the 9-yard line.
I think the referee meant to say second down there, Mark. He actually said third down.
Second down.
He heard you.
Probably heard Bobby Williams.
The referee today, Bill Lamania. Backs lining up out of the eye. Rogers split to the bottom of your screen. Woods in motion. On the slant, incomplete, intended for B.J. Lovett. Sanders right there to help break up the pass. It'll be third down and goal for the Spartans.
Interesting how the mind game gets played. You look at this graphic right here, and you see Iowa 116th in the nation in pass defense, second in the nation in rush defense, but Michigan State comes out and runs the football early, trying to establish the run.
10 plays in the drive, Bob. You surprised that Rogers hadn't touched the ball yet?
He may touch it right now, Mark.
When it counts.
13 straight games catching a touchdown pass.
5 receiver formation. It's not Rogers. He goes the other way. No flag, and now a late flag from the back judge. It was intended for Kavanaugh. And he was being covered closely, maybe a little too closely, by Antoine Allen, the 5'10 freshman. And it's against the Hawkeyes. That'll give Michigan State a first down and goal to go. So Smoker has gone to Lovett, Kavanaugh, but not Rogers yet, still.
You're going to see once again Iowa using up 2 defenders to cover 1 receiver. But that receiver is Charles Rogers. This gives the opportunity at the top for straight man-to-man coverage. Antoine Allen coming in a little bit early. Huge penalty right there for Michigan State.
Moss stopped up, meanwhile, back to the 4-yard line. The initial charge led by Matt Roth, the 6'4", 245-pound sophomore, who last week in a win against Purdue made a somewhat controversial play that kept the Purdue drive alive late in the ballgame, although Iowa did come back to win.
Mark, something you see going back to that last play and the other pass plays, Iowa, a zone pass defense team, elects to come out and play man-to-man in this football game so that they can double Charles Rogers.
A bit of a wrinkle, 2nd down and goal. On the toss, Moss stopped up again. Maybe got a yard on the play. Colin Cole, one of the leaders up front out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, making the stop. Moss showing a little bit of agility at 230 pounds. It'll be 3rd down and goal now. Moss lost 30 pounds during the offseason, did a lot of training and working out. 2-a-days, 3rd and goal. 5 receivers in. Rogers to the right of Smoker. And he looks Rogers' way, incomplete. And a late flag. DJ Johnson, the 5'10 senior, was all over Rogers that time. And once again, it'll be 1st and goal.
DJ Johnson one-on-one on Charles Rogers. I do think he came in and got a little bit of jersey early. But give DJ Johnson a break. Charles Rogers doesn't need any help. Tough call right there on the goal line.
Get the feeling already that it might be a long afternoon for that secondary when it comes to Rogers. Goebel the lead back. Moss the tailback. It's Moss. Touchdown Spartans. Michigan State strikes first, much to the displeasure of the fans here.
Iowa playing man-to-man coverage, locking up challenging receivers really for the first time this year. That's good, but it's also bad. It resulted in 2 pass interference calls on that drive.
Moss with his 4th touchdown of the season running the ball. Rayner in for the extra point. And DeJuan Moss helps give Michigan State a 7-0 lead. Tough sledding between the tackles. We'll be right back.
ESPN's presentation of college football brought to you by Land Rover, the most well-traveled vehicles on earth, and by Best Buy. For the latest technology, turn on the fun at Best Buy.
Spartan mascot and the team so far flexing their collective muscles as Michigan State leads 7-0 here at Kinnick Stadium, the 36th meeting between Michigan State and Iowa. Spartans scoring on a 12-play, 54-yard drive. Lewis has a seam. Jamel Lewis has one man to beat. The Hawkeye special teams strikes again. Touchdown.
The magic continues if you're a Hawkeye fan. Jamel Lewis takes it. That's too easy. There's no one within 10 yards of Jamel Lewis. And they continue the amazing run of special teams. That's a sign of a well-coached football team.
A 94-yard bolt of lightning across the Iowa Plains makes it 7-7 in a blink. The story for Iowa this season has been one of special teams. In the last 3 games, they've blocked 4 kicks, including 2 punts, one of them coming right there. They blocked a field goal as well, and an extra point here against Penn State a couple of weeks ago that came back for a score of 2 points. And a punt last week against Purdue, which went for a touchdown. All 4 blocks resulted in Iowa scores so far. And you have that to add to that kickoff return just a few moments ago by Jermel Lewis. 5'11" sophomore. Bob, like you said, that looked a little bit too easy. He was untouched.
Mark, special teams has become contagious here in Iowa City. What happens? They've had so much success and so many big plays. Everybody wants to be a part of it. You have all the starters that want to be it. You have student body members want to be on the kickoff coverage. You've got old players from 15 years ago want to be a part of it. It's contagious. And the success right now is the biggest reason so far this football team only has 1 loss.
Hating kicking off. Interestingly enough, last year it was Michigan State that scored on a kickoff return in this game. Herb Haygood went 100 yards. Return back out to the 20-yard line. Reese Davis bringing law and order to Judgment Day. Reese, what's up?
Well, we have a little old-fashioned blood feud on Tobacco Road, North Carolina State, North Carolina. T.A. McClendon, 178 touchdowns in high school. That's his 11th in college as a true freshman. Wolfpack up by a touch in the first.
All right, Michigan State on the sidelines huddling up. Boy, that is a huge momentum swing in mere seconds. But Michigan State scored its touchdown. Iowa taking back the old momentum train and swinging it in their favor. First down and 10 for the Spartans from the 19. The play fake by Smoker goes to Rogers, and it's caught at the 30-yard line for a first down. He was working on D.J. Johnson.
Right now, what Norm Parker, the defensive coordinator, is thinking on the sidelines, I love the fact that we scored, but don't score so fast. Don't give it back to Michigan State. I've got to find a way to defend Charles Rogers. Take some time off the clock. Michigan State with another possession here with the win.
First down and 10. Rogers just made his first reception of the afternoon. Moss on the old stretch, and he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage. A great surge led by Fred Barr, the 6'2 senior. Busy Saturday afternoon and evening in college football to tell you about in just a bit. First, a flag on the field. As Barr knifed through there to make the tackle. Barr, the leading tackler on that Hawkeye defense. Here's the call.
Dead ball, personal foul, offense. Half the distance to the goal, second down.
That's the kind of stuff that really kills you on the road. And folks, don't forget, 7:45 Eastern Time tonight on ESPN College Football Saturday Night, presented by the U.S. Postal Service. Rex Grossman passed for 464 yards and 5 touchdowns last year in Death Valley, a Florida win, as he and the Gators look to bounce back after a tough loss last Saturday against Ole Miss, and defeating LSU against number 16 Florida.
Nick Saban, a defensive coach, old Michigan State coach, he'll have a good plan against Florida tonight after giving up that many passing yards last year.
Second and long, Smoker on the out and up. Looking for Rogers, and it's picked off by Sanders. The first turnover of the game in favor of the Hawkeyes.
The biggest problem Jeff Smoker has had this year is underthrowing the deep ball. And Mark, that should not happen when Charles Rogers is your receiver and you're throwing with the wind. At some point, take advantage of Charles Rogers and get the football out there where he can make a play. Once again, his 8th interception of the year, an underthrown deep ball.
Jeff Smoker, one of the top-rated passers in the Big Ten in terms of passing efficiency. First down and 10 for the Hawkeyes. Banks back to pass. Complete to Maurice Brown near the first down marker at the 45-yard line. A Battle of Florida happening today. Reese, tell us what's up there.
Mark, first play from scrimmage from Miami. Florida State dropped a sure interception for a touchdown, and you can't miss those opportunities against the Hurricanes. They will make you pay. Ken Dorsey to Kellen Winslow Jr., and it set up Willis McGahee. 13-play drive, 89 yards. Look at that run. Strong legs he has. Canes on top, 7-0.
Boy, that's how you break a couple of tackles.
Mickey Andrews is beside himself right now on that Florida State sideline.
Second down and 1. Fred Russell, the lone back. 2 tight end formation. They give it to Russell. And Russell gets the first down at the 40-yard line. Fred Russell, diminutive yet very dynamic at just 5'8", and that might be a little bit generous. He tells us, hey, tell everyone I'm 6 feet, okay? He's averaging 144 yards rushing per game.
Well, we have a hard time saying he's 6 feet, Mark. I mean, unless these guys are 7 feet. You can see right there the size differential. But what he is a strong, powerful running back. But he's only about 5'6". I've got to be honest.
I'll give him 5'7". Huge heart. 4th leading rusher in the nation. First down and 10 for Iowa. Little waggle by Banks. Takes off himself. Still on his feet. Brad Banks all the way down to the 31-yard line. Close to the first down, and that's where he can hurt you.
The run-pass option. Brad Banks beats contain. Greg Taplin, I believe, gives up contain. And now you've got Brad Banks in a two-way situation. Wow. He looks a little bit like number 2, Fred Russell, right there in the open field. Last week against Purdue, he only carried the football twice, but one of those a 44-yard running play on the last drive of the football game.
And ended up winning them the game on that play almost. Second down and 1. Throwing back has Jones. Incomplete, just overthrowing Jones. And let's go back to Reese in the studio.
All right, Mark, earlier we saw the freshman T.A. McClendon scoring for North Carolina State. There's another freshman running back that's gotten some attention, Maurice Clarett from the Buckeyes, going in against San Jose State. Ohio State up by a touch. They step out of conference for this Saturday.
Well, you can't say enough about the job that Fitz Hill is doing there at San Jose State this year.
He's had some big wins.
Yeah, some big wins. Trying to turn that program around a little bit. Third down and 1. Russell set deep all the way back at the 40-yard line. 9 yards behind the line of scrimmage. They give it to Russell, and he's brought down and then escapes. Fred Russell showing you a little bit of strength, breaking a tackle for the first down.
Jason Harmon, the safety, misses a tackle in the backfield right here. Fred Russell, he's not very tall, but he has tremendous leg strength. If you see him convert that 3rd and 1, which really could have been a negative play, into a big first down for Iowa.
Fred Russell, the player that was recruited by Michigan State. First down and 10. Banks now audibling at the line. Jones split to the bottom of your screen. He looks at Jones. And Jones drops it. Went right through his arms. College Football Saturday continues tonight on ESPN 2, 6:30 Eastern. Lou Holtz in South Carolina in Lexington to take on Jared Lorenzen and Kentucky. The series record between these two teams dead even at 6-6-1. Then it's followed by BYU at Air Force in the national rankings and spotlight at number 19 in the country. And I tell you, man, that wishbone, Bob Davie, just keeps moving right along.
You don't like that wishbone, be honest.
I like
That's
it.
old school.
I don't mind it.
You want to see him throw it every down. You're kind of a new wave offensive guy.
Second down. Give this to Russell, still on his feet and then tripped up at the 24-yard line by Greg Taplin, the defensive end. And Fred Russell telling me yesterday during our meetings that life really has changed for him. Enjoying a little bit of the national spotlight right now. Says that he's been getting a lot of phone calls from friends, cousins, people that he hasn't heard from, frankly, in years. He's actually thinking about changing his cell phone number. Won't be able to hit him at the hip anymore on the pager or the cell phone.
Well, he's kind of like you. When you become a big-time, nationally recognized guy, you know, I'm with you. That cell phone just continues to beep.
It'll be ringing off the hook if he keeps putting up impressive numbers. 3rd down and 8. Gotta get to the 16 for the first down. Solomon hangs on to it. He was hit immediately by Broderick Nelson. But he's about 3 yards short of the first down.
A lot of times when we talk about defensive backs, we talk about coverage, but tackling is so important. Look at all this open grass out here. Michigan State in man coverage, a sure tackle right there by Broderick Nelson, and look who's on the field.
He is 11 of 11 on the season. This one coming from about 36 yards out. Nate Kading. There's a streak going back to last year. And the streak stays alive. Right down the highway. From 36 yards out, and the Hawkeyes lead 10-7. He's made his last 15 in a row. We'll be back to Kinnick Stadium right after this. Back here in Iowa City, the hometown Hawkeyes leading by a score of 10-7. With 2:35 to play in the first quarter. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie and Holly Rowe down to the field. Kading, as I mentioned a few moments ago before the break, now made 15 consecutive field goals dating back to last year.
What did he tell us before the game, Mark?
Says with the wind, shoot, I'd do 75-yard field goal. Up it back deep for Michigan State. And Hayes at the 4. Hayes got a nice block. He's brought down at the 22-yard line. Let's go downstairs to Holly.
Guys, during the course of the game, most head coaches stay up at the front of the sidelines and allow their bench players to be talked to by their position coaches. But after that last offensive series, Bobby Williams made his way back to the offense and was furious. He said, we can control the mistakes we make. He was furious about the penalties, the interceptions. He said, we have to eliminate that. I don't want to see any of that out there anymore. We win this football game by being a solid team.
Yeah, in their last drive, Holly, they self-destructed. Smoker with a interception, his 8th of the season. That's the Iowa score, the field goal. Smoker downfield, underthrown once again for Rogers. Bob Sanders in the vicinity. The little guy, one of the biggest hitters that defensive coordinator Norm Parker has ever seen. Good in pass coverage there, too, Bob.
Another situation, Mark, of underthrowing the corner route right here by Jeff Smoker. Bob Sanders, he's one of those 5'8" defensive backs, goes up and makes a play. Norm Parker said in 35 years of coaching, Bob Sanders is the most physical football player he has coached. That is a strong statement.
Even when he wears an XL t-shirt, it looks like he's wearing a small. He's so puffed up. 2nd down and 10. Moss between the tackles. Tough running by DeLon Moss all the way out to the 32-yard line. Check that. That's David Richard now in the ball game. The 6'1" freshman, 230 pounds, built about the same. Maybe a little faster, though, Richard.
They love this true freshman. Iowa, once again, 2nd in the nation in rush defense, getting gouged a little bit early in this football game. First by DeLon Moss in the first series, and now the freshman David Richard steps up.
Keep in mind that this Iowa defense ranked number 2 in the nation against the run. Richard opened a lot of eyes with 70 yards rushing on 15 carries against Notre Dame a few weeks ago in a losing cause. Ryan Woods in motion. Smoker with a play fake. Complete to Rogers near midfield at the 48-yard line. He was brought down by Bob Sanders. A 17-yard pickup and a first down.
The reason this is successful is because Michigan State's able to run the football here early. So they come back with the play action on 1st and 10, freeze the linebackers, and Charles Rogers comes open against zone coverage. But give that credit to the running game that Michigan State's been able to establish.
First down and 10 at the 48. With 1:25 to go now in the first period. They run it to midfield. David Richard stopped up by Cole after a gain of about 2. ESPN Sunday Night Football featuring The game of the week in the NFL. Running back machine Ricky Williams already has 4 100-yard games this season. One shy of the team record. The Dolphins taking on Brian Greasy and the Broncos. And boy, you talk about a guy that has really benefited from a change of scenery and venue. Ricky Williams very much at home in South Florida.
Had the chance to coach against Ricky Williams twice. A Bo Jackson type player. I mean, incredible speed for an athlete his size.
Dropped a little weight and is much faster this year too. 2nd and 8. Smoker. That time looking at Ryan Woods, the tight end. And Bob, we were watching film earlier this week, and we noticed that they do a lot of interesting things with their tight ends, Michigan State.
They do, and they've done that the last couple years with Morris Watts as the offensive coordinator. They spread their big tight ends out really as wide receivers. And you see a case right there of them matching up the big tight end on a defensive back. But what you're going to see here, Eric Knott, number 4, the big young tight end that's in the football game. Right here, number 4, Eric Knott, the tight end.
Smoker picked off again. Pagel, and he could go. Touchdown Hawkeyes. Yards back the other way on the pick. Pagel with his 3rd interception this season, and the first one that comes back for a touchdown. The Hawkeyes now lead it by 10.
We're going to see what happens right here. You're going to see Charles Rogers works on the corner, but then you're going to see Pagel, the free safety, actually double. But the real thing right here is Jeff Smoker forces the football in. No chance right there with Derek Pagel double teaming Charles Rogers on the square end. Another creative way by Iowa to score. Here you see DJ Johnson underneath, Derek Pagel on the inside taking away the square end. Good defensive scheme right there by Norm Parker.
Meanwhile, the woes for Smoker continue, Bob. His 9th pick this season, 24th of his career. The numbers going in the wrong direction going back to 2000.
And that's the 4th straight game that Jeff Smoker has thrown 2 interceptions.
Morris Watts, the offensive coordinator, told him when he saw Smoker's billboard pasted high above Spartan Stadium, said, you know what, you're no longer just one of the 11 guys again. The heat's going to be on you this year, and so far Smoker trying to find his offensive groove from a season ago. Hayes at the 2. And you get the feeling to the Hawkeyes, special teams, defense, crowd, everybody into the game right now. We salute the Marines assigned to Camp Fuji, Japan, watching this telecast on the American Forces Network, including the men and women of Headquarters Battalion who provide training support for Marines stationed throughout Japan. All of us here at ESPN and our viewers support your efforts, guys. Taking care of our interests both abroad and domestically. First down and 10 for Michigan State at the 17.
Every great quarterback has been through what Jeff Smoker's going through right now. There's no easy way to get through it. And sometimes it gets worse before he gets better. Jeff Smoker's a tremendous young man, but right now he is grinding it.
Moss back in the ball game, and Barr nice through, making a foray into the backfield for the sack. The 6'2" senior getting it done. The Hawkeyes with a resounding 17-0 run, 17 unanswered points. They lead when we come back for the second. Iowa looking for its 5th win in 7 meetings against Michigan State. They lead by 10 as we begin the second quarter of play here at Kinnick Stadium. I'm Mark Jones, along with Bob Davey and Holly Rowe down in the field. Second down and long for the Spartans. Moss back in the ball game, stopped up at the line of scrimmage by Jared Klaus. Let's take a look at our ESPN Gateway game track. A couple of key big plays. Special teams. Iowa's first touchdown of the game came on this 95-yard return by Jermel Lewis. And then the interception for the touchdown. Your pick six number today, folks, is 25. Derek Pagel with his third of the season, his first, coming back for a touchdown. Smoker now with 9 picks on the year. Third down and long. Smoker gets it off to his fullback, Goebel. And he's brought down short of the first down at the 18 by Howard Hodges. And Michigan State will have to punt. Well, if Bobby Williams wanted to keep the crowd out of the game early, it hasn't worked.
Big plays, the kickoff return, the interception return for a touchdown by Derek Pagel has put this crowd right in the middle of this football game.
Jason Daly to punt. There's your punter here for Michigan State, a Californian. Fourth down and 11. Under pressure. Barely got it off. Hinkle back at the 38. Ed Hinkle brought down after a 10-yard return on a 46-yard punt. Reese, what's happening up with the Cornhuskers?
Well, they've won 25 straight at home, Mark, longest streak in the nation. They've beaten Missouri 23 straight times, but Jamal Lord and John Clem, they get in there and tangle that thing up and fumble it. Missouri takes over, and from there, Zach Averin will slam into the end zone, and the Tigers in Lincoln on top by a touchdown. Temple on top of Syracuse by a field goal.
Reese, first down and 10 for the Hawkeyes at the 48. Russell trying to hit the edge. And tackled by number 44, Ronald Stanley. He started 12 games as a freshman last year. An invaluable experience. Nice play on that one.
Iowa does a tremendous job on the stretch. Here you're going to see the center, Bruce Nelson, pulling. And at the top of the screen, you're going to see an excellent block by the receiver, Maurice Brown. Fred Russell gets to the perimeter, picks up 5 yards on first down.
Nelson with an incredible Ironman streak going. And his 41st consecutive game. Second down and 5. Banks. Incomplete. And a flag coming on the play. Intended for Maurice Brown, and Cedric Henry, the corner, was defending on the play. Pass interference against Michigan State. Bob, what do you mean by zone blocking?
Zone blocking, you have an option as an offensive line to either man block or zone block. Iowa is one of the finest zone blocking teams in the country, and they really have 2 forms. One you see here, the stretch or the outside zone, where the offensive lineman works in a coordinated fashion, all getting flat. The second is they try to create double teams in an inside zone, and there's a cutback. You see 2 linemen blocking 1, but all 4 eyes on the linebacker. They come off, and there's an opportunity for a cutback off the double team.
It has worked for them this year. On the out, now Pinkle, incomplete. Banks just barely overthrew him. And he had gotten in behind Cedric Henry on the play. Banks has had a couple of close misses, one earlier to Jones.
Iowa going up the top on the hitch and go. You see Brad Banks pump fake. He has Ed Hinkle wide open right there. Ed Hinkle, great effort laying out, but Brad Banks would love to have that one back. Keep in mind, Brad Banks throwing with the wind right now may have affected that throw just a little bit.
Second down and 10 for the Hawkeyes. Quarterback draw. Banks has some real estate. And he put his hat down at the 30 and is right at the first down marker. He took on Jason Harmon, the free safety.
I'm a little surprised right here that Brad Banks didn't make Jason Harmon miss right here, the free safety in the open field. That's a one-on-one tackle. But I think back, Bill Miller, the defensive coordinator, told us Jason Harmon is their best tackler in the secondary.
Harmon was one of the guys that last year got hurt during a non-contact drill during the off week before this Iowa game. First down and 10, he got the first down. Brown and Hinkle split to the bottom of your screen. They run it into the boundary with Russell, and Russell got back to the line of scrimmage. Harmon once again coming up on run support from his free safety spot.
Anytime you play a team as talented running of the football as Iowa, you have to get your secondary involved. Here you're going to see Jason Harmon, the free safety, filling outside the defensive end to have it sealed off. The free safety, Jason Harmon, once again, a good tackle using the sideline really as his extra man over there and running Fred Russell out of bounds.
Second down and 10 now. Cervantes, the fullback, beside Banks. Banks flushed out. And he wisely steps out of bounds at the 34-yard line. It'll be third down and long. Kyle Rasmussen with the pressure on the play for the Spartans.
I think you can see the athleticism of Brad Banks. And it's an interesting story, Mark. We see as we go around this country sometimes the impatience of players, particularly at the quarterback position. They seem to want to transfer if they're not going to be the guy. You have to feel good for a Brad Banks who has waited around. He's a senior starting for the first time. And the reason he's so polished, he's experienced even though he hasn't played because he stayed with the program.
A real portrait in patience. Can't help but root for him a little bit. Third down and long, 13 to go. Banks, backside pressure, and rocked back at the 38 by Eric Smith. The redshirt freshman comes up with a sack, and it'll be fourth down.
You are going to see the zone blitz. Eric Smith, the dime back, comes from the top. Dallas Clark on a little check down release. Obviously, he should have stayed on that block right there.
That's the 10th sack of the season for Michigan State's defense.
Bill Miller and Michigan State gave Iowa problems last year, particularly in third down, with a multiple blitz package. Bill Miller again coming up with a good plan on third and long.
Bradley, the punter for Iowa, been in a bit of a slump of late. See if he can get his 10th punt inside the 20. Hangs up a spiral with the wind at his back, and it travels into the end zone. The Spartans will take it out at their own 20-yard line, a 38-yard punt, nothing on the return. Iowa still hasn't scored an offensive touchdown, but they lead when we come back. Welcome back, everyone, to the 36th meeting between Iowa and Michigan State. 20th ranked Hawkeyes with a 10-point lead with 10:54 to go here in the first half. First and 10 for the Spartans from their own 20. Not in motion. Smoker complete to Kavanaugh for the first down at the 32-yard line. An overcast, breezy, and a little bit of a chill in the air here at Kinnick Stadium. Michigan State against Iowa. Look at one of the key plays of the game so far. It happened early, right after the Spartans had scored a touchdown on a long drive. Jermel Lewis kicked the turbo in and gave the Spartans an education in acceleration into the end zone. That was one of the big momentum swings early in favor of the Hawkeyes. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey and Holly Rose. Dewan Moss into the boundary. Run out at the 33. And Reese, what's happening down in Florida?
Well, the Canes have been converting on third down, Mark. 3 out of 4. Here's another third down, making 4 out of 5. Missed tackle right there. And Dorsey has ethnic stance for a big gainer down into Seminole territory. But twice, Florida State has dropped interception chances against Ken Dorsey, but not the third time. Great depth by the backer, Michael Boulware, making the catch, and the Knowles snuff out the attempt.
I guess Mickey Andrews feeling a little bit better now, right?
He put some stickum on those guys on the sideline. Mickey's an old school guy now.
Is that what you defensive coordinators do sometimes?
Yeah, but you're not supposed to do that. There's an NCAA rule, no sticking. So
we won't tell anybody.
I was just kidding about Mickey doing that.
2nd and 9. Smoker back to fling it. A great catch at the 44 by B.J. Lovett. And Michigan State possessions of late somewhat futile. 2 interceptions and a punt.
They have come to life on this series. Once again going away from Charles Rogers, coming back really the same play twice in a row on the flanker curl route against zone coverage.
1st down and 10 after the reception. Not in motion. Run it back the other way. That's Dewan Moss. He's going to be brought down for a loss at the 41 by Howard Hodges off the edge. The 6'2", 235-pound junior making a nice play.
The best way to beat zone blocking is to penetrate. And you see Howard Hodges, 48, run off the football, get penetration. Howard Hodges a little bit undersized, but great quickness coming off the football.
Michigan State's running game, meanwhile, has been somewhat inconsistent this year. There's a snapshot of just how inconsistent it can be from series to series. 2nd down and 13. They do have some talent, though. Smoker going to pass it. Completed the 43, and a nice tackle by D.J. Johnson. Let's go to Reese in the studio.
All right, Mark, updating some Big Ten action. Wisconsin and Indiana, 6-3 game. Wisconsin on top, and DeBron Hamden firing out there to Brian Lewis for the touchdown. The Hoosiers had all kind of trouble on offense. You'll recall what they did last year, but that was with Randall L. against Wisconsin. 10-6 that game in the 2nd quarter, and look at San Jose State. They're on the board against the Buckeyes.
Well, speaking of the Badgers, Lee Evans, the receiver, injured. Rogers said that he's going to speak with Lee Evans and talk about the pros and cons of leaving school early when you consider the injury factor.
That was a sad story. Lee Evans hurt at the end of spring practice last year.
3rd down and 10 and a timeout called by Michigan State. Charles Rogers, a lot of people still don't know, playing with some sore ribs, an injury suffered in the Notre Dame game. We'll be right back after this.
ESPN's presentation of college football brought to you by the exciting lineup of Suzuki products, all proud presenting sponsors of the Heisman Trophy, and by the United States Army, an army of one.
Well, from the pedestrian mall in South Dubuque to Kinnick Stadium, all points in between, a very exciting time for Iowa football fans. 3rd down and 10.
Charles Rogers again at the top. Corner on him, and the safety probably doubling him.
Out of the shotgun. They screen it. And a nice move by Richard, but he was brought down from behind by Fred Barr. Tremendous in pursuit. 4th down for Michigan State.
Michigan State again coming up with other ways, knowing that Iowa is locking up on Charles Rogers. Here Iowa in straight man under coverage. They try to throw the screen. The screen is a difficult play to run, the delayed screen against man-to-man, because a linebacker simply has that back and closes on it.
Barr made a nice play. 4th down and 10. Hinkle calls for the fair catch at the 22-yard line. And we're going to take a short break. The Hawkeyes looking for their 6th win of the season and 3rd in Big Ten play. We'll be back. 1st down and 10 for Iowa. Nose of the ball at their own 21-yard line back here at Kinnick Stadium. I'm Mark Jones, along with Bob Davey and Holly Rowe down in the field. The Spartans looking to get their vibe and whole biorhythms in sync right now. A little bit out of sync, especially offensively. Aaron Greving with his first carry of the afternoon. Greving, who started the year as the #1 guy on the 3 deep. Making it out to the 26-yard line. Greving, a 5'11", 211-pound junior. At one point last year, he had 3 touchdowns and 3 consecutive touches, tying an NCAA record, but it's been a season so far where he's been hampered by injuries.
In the last football game last year, the Alamo Bowl, he carried the football 25 times. So he, coming into the season, was going to be the go-to back for Iowa, but the emergence of Fred Russell.
Great dilemma to have on your hands if you're a head coach. 2nd down and 5. Greving again. Hurdled one would-be tackler. Brought down to the 27. Let's go back to a Big Ten update in the studio with Reese.
Mark, you guys know that San Jose State's already won an opposing Big Ten house, winning at Illinois, and they were within 3 of Ohio State's. Greg Frenzel up top. Look at the sticky Velcro fingers of Chris Vance for the touchdown, 17-7. Arkansas coming off that 6 overtime loss to Tennessee, tied up with Auburn in Jordan Hare.
I've been impressed with Mark and Reese are the receivers in the Big Ten Conference. There are some dynamic receivers in this league.
Had a direct effect on some of the high scores we've seen this year in the Big Ten Conference. 3rd down and 3 for the Hawkeyes. Banks going to try and do it himself, and he will. He gets the 1st down before falling at the 38. Brad Banks still has not yet found his passing touch yet, but he gets it done on the ground, much to the dismay of Bobby Williams.
Brad Banks again, athleticism, make things happen. The great thing there, Mark, he didn't force the football. He was patient, but yet he took his opportunity to run.
It was about from that spot where he ran 44 yards to keep that drive alive last week. Visiting teams here at Kinnick Stadium facing many different challenges. Banks has a man, Jones. It's a cousin-to-cousin thing. Touchdown. 62 yards. Banks with his 13th touchdown pass this season to his cousin, C.J. Jones.
Michigan State trying to make something happen in the running game, brings the strong safety on the blitz. Iowa burns them. Great throw by Brad Banks.
Kading's extra point is good, and it's 24-7. 24 points on the board. Banks and C.J. have Hawkeye fans just jonesing for some more touchdowns. We'll be right back. (24-7) with 6:22 to play in the first half. Iowa striking moments ago with a 62-yard touchdown catch by C.J. Jones from his cousin Brad Banks. That was the longest catch of his career. Previously had a 59-yarder against Indiana. The Spartans have to respond somehow. Out of the end zone and brought down to the 12 is Jaron Hayes. And Bob, exactly what happened on that last play.
The thing that makes Iowa so dangerous, to stop the running game, you try to get penetration. They bring the strong safety. They play 3 deep zone coverage behind it, but you're going to see the free safety suck up on a run fake, and the receiver gets in behind him for the post. C.J. Jones, it's a 1st and 10 run stunt. 3 deep, the free safety sucks up. Great throw by Brad Banks, and your namesake, C.J. Jones, takes it to the house, Mark.
Michigan State outscored on the season in the first half. They're a second half team, but you can't fall behind by too much.
Go back to the 3rd down conversion by Brad Banks with his legs to get the 1st down to set it up.
Smoker under duress escapes and is tackled at the 13-yard line by Steen. And Reese Davis, what's happening down there in the dirty, dirty South?
Well, you know, the last 9 times Miami and Florida State have played, the team has scored first one. That doesn't mean you have to quit. Miami up 7-0. Nick Maddox gashing through that Cane defense, goes 30 yards to the house, and we are locked up at 7 in the Orange Bowl, guys.
Bobby Bowden going back to his 2-back offense. And I really think that gives them the best chance for success with Greg Jones and Nick Maddox, and also the play-action pass of Chris Wicks.
Florida State not giving up. 2nd down and 6. 2 tight end formation for Smoker in the offense. Incomplete. Intended for Rogers. Well, tonight at 7:45 Eastern, it's another Florida team, the Gators. Now a little bit out of the picture, taking on the number 15 LSU Tigers. 7:45 Eastern tonight on ESPN. Number 15 against number 16, Rex Grossman. I think now you have to say has to come back for his senior season. There's no doubt.
Hurt his chances the last couple weeks with his performance as far as Heisman goes. But keep in mind, he's only a junior.
Right. 3rd and 6. Michigan State just 1 of 4 on 3rd downs today.
Charles Rogers out wide.
Smoker tackled back at the 12 by Matt Roth. His 2nd impact play of the afternoon.
Antoine Allen stepping up again, getting up underneath Charles Rogers, maybe holding him a little bit and talking a little bit, but it goes back to really a coverage sack, and you see Roth again coming inside and blindsides Jeff Smoker right here.
Michigan State looking to find a little bit more fire in its collective bellies right now. Back on its heels some. A low line drive returnable punt by Hinkle, who lets it bounce at midfield. And a flag thrown back at the 33-yard line after a 41-yard punt. Michigan State trying to get its mood just right. Special challenge here at Kinnick Stadium to do that, though. Penalty going to be against Iowa.
Takes away great field position right here for Iowa. The thing about Iowa, for people that haven't seen them across the country, they are a big strike, big play team. Think of this game today. Kickoff return for a touchdown. Interception for a touchdown. Post route, 65-yard touchdown. They are an explosive offensive, defensive, and special teams football team.
You cannot sleep on Kirk Ferentz's crew. 4:29 to play here in the first half.
Also keep in mind, they seem to always be ahead early and always hanging on at the end.
They keep you around. From the 38-yard line, Greving in a tailback. Banks now audibling at the line. The 3-step drop incomplete. Intended for Solomon. And Holly Roll, what about that mood for Michigan State?
Right now, the Michigan State bench is definitely deflated. They're playing very low right now. They've struggled to get going on offense. Now, some might say it won't get any better after they go into the locker room. Many years ago, former Iowa coach Hayden Fry had the visitors' locker room painted pink after he read a psychology report that made people warm and fuzzy, a little bit more peaceful, just the opposite of what you'd want a football team to be. Now, I'm not kidding. Everything in this locker room is pink, from the benches to the shower stalls. We'll see if it has an effect. I've read a psychology study that players who play in black are more aggressive, so Michigan State may be 2 color schemes working against them today.
Yeah, it's all about the tints and tones, and Dallas Clark has the right color. Down to the 43-yard line. Let's go back to Reese in the studio.
All right, we just saw big Dallas Clark. I got another tight end for you. North Carolina State and North Carolina. Darian Durant. Going to drop one in there on Bobby Blizzard. Soft skin. Kentucky transfer. 10-7 Tar Heels on top, and Auburn up by the same score on Arkansas. Daniel Cobb off to a nice start for Tommy Tuberville's team.
All right, Reese, first down and 10. You got to wake me up. I'm out of my coma now.
Feel fuzzy?
Looking
at warm and fuzzy
very.
now?
After seeing all that pink. First down and 10. Greving dropped down to the 41-yard line and tackled by Askew on the play. What about that locker room, Bob?
Well, first of all, it's ugly.
They could use a new coat of pink.
Exactly, but you're thinking too much. I mean, Football players and coaches may be fragile. I don't think they're that fragile. I think some psychologist or psychiatrist somewhere made a bunch of money coming up with that theory. If you're in there worrying about what color that locker room is, you don't have enough things to worry about.
So if you're not an opposing coach, you don't go in there and hang up some black curtains all around the place?
Man, I had too many other things to worry about, Mark.
Second down and 9. 2 tights and 2 wideouts. Greving the lone back. Banks is looking to pass. And makes a play on his own. Put it on spin cycle. And got away from the would-be tackler. Brought down at the 35-yard line. Brad Banks. Doing it with his legs and his arm.
Brad Banks once again shows his spin cycle, as you call it, ability right here. Mark, I am really impressed with Brad Banks. #1 in the Big Ten in pass efficiency, but really efficient with his legs as well and his decision-making.
Kirk Ferentz said that, interestingly enough, he's not surprised by Banks' success and performance. He's very pleased with it.
Told us that yesterday. I mean, just adamantly said, no, I'm not surprised.
Third down and 2. Greving trying to keep those legs churning right near the first down marker and stopped by Harmon on the play. And let's go back to Reese.
All right, Mark, Missouri and Nebraska. David Horn, freshman from Omaha. They pulled the red shirt off of him, looking for a little spark and eye back, and he gets in the house. That tied the game at 7. Mizzou has added a field goal since then. They're back on top of the Huskers. They just started the second quarter.
The whole complexion of the Big 12 Conference has changed with the emergence of Iowa State, Texas Tech,
and Missouri.
Yeah, and Missouri. The story here, though, 24 unanswered points by the Hawkeyes after trailing 7-0. A kickoff return for a touchdown, an interception, run back for a touchdown, and a big 64-yard strike to Jones from Banks.
Michigan State showing safety blitz again. Thomas Wright up at the line of scrimmage.
Webbing getting a lot of carries. Brought down to the 32, and let's go downstairs to Holly for more on Banks.
Brad Banks, the Iowa quarterback, is one of 13 children, 6 brothers, 6 sisters. So you can imagine he's been getting a lot of phone calls this week, as you might imagine, from family members. He said they haven't had a lot positive to say, though. They've all been giving him grief for getting run down last week on his 44-yard scamper to put the game on the line. And they said, come on, lay off it. You got to eat more salad. You're a little bit too slow.
Well, his roommate is his cousin, C.J. Jones, and here Jones has a great catfish and grits recipe, so maybe he needs to bulk up on that part.
Where's he go, to Des Moines to get that catfish, or what?
A blitz coming by the Spartans, and it's incomplete, and a late flag at the 27. It's against the defense, and Bobby Williams and his defense. Let's go back to Reese. Reese, what's coming up at halftime?
All right, coming up on the Nivea halftime report, Mark, we've got Showdown Saturday, and down at the Orange Bowl, we've got the kickers talking a little bit of smack between Miami and Florida State. And, of course, across the Big Ten, Wisconsin getting more of a fight than it might have imagined from Indiana after the Hoosiers have played early. The game day guys in the shadow of Big Tech, ready for the showdown in the Cotton Bowl. We'll check in with this.
All right, Reese, boy, kickers talking smack. Now, that's a flag. That's worthy of a flag. First and 10. Banks on the quick 3-step drop, incomplete for Jones. And don't forget, 3:30 Eastern time today. Great games coming up on ABC College Football. The Red River rivalry, #2 Texas against #3 Oklahoma. Penn State against Michigan, a pivotal Big Ten game. And #7 Oregon against #25 UCLA. Bob Davie, who do you like in that Red River showdown?
I like Texas.
Really?
Time for Chris Sims to step up, win a big football game. It's time for the Longhorns to win.
Penn State, Michigan is going to be a very intriguing matchup as well. Mike Johnson really showing his skills of late. Second down and 10. Banks to pass. Amazing how he escapes when he steps up in the pocket sometimes, Bob. Up to the 26-yard line. It'll be third down and long.
I think a good decision right there by Bill Miller, the defensive coordinator from Michigan State. He came with the pressure. You're almost better off, or you are better off to pressure Brad Banks and blitz him. Against a 4-man rush, there's too many seams in there for him to step up and run with the football.
Third down and 8, under a minute to go here in the first half. Iowa well within Nate Kading's field goal range. And he does have the wind at his back, so that wouldn't be an issue either. We have a timeout down in the field. We're going to take a timeout with them. 24-7 when we come back to Kinnick Stadium. Stick around. (24-7) with 33 seconds to go here at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie and Holly Rowe down in the field. Iowa looking to improve to 3-0 in the Big Ten and 6-1 overall. Michigan State playing its first road game of the season here after 5 consecutive games at the crib at home. Third down and 8.
Iowa tendency to run the football in these situations, third and real long, and the tailback breathing in the football game. But you see Brad Banks checking right here because it's straight man coverage.
Banks intended for Clark and just beyond his grasp. And
Brad
it'll be
Banks,
fourth down.
an excellent control of this offense, Mark. Coming up at the line of scrimmage, doing a great job audibilizing right there. Just didn't make a great throw to Dallas Clark.
Number 95, Nate Kading there, is a place kicker, but he thinks of himself as a quote-unquote real football player.
3 state championship teams in high school: football, soccer, and I believe track and field.
This one coming from 43 yards out. Ripe with confidence and accuracy. That's 15 consecutive field goals. And he tacks on one more. It's 27-7. Hey, College Football Saturday continues on ESPN2. South Carolina taking on perhaps the surprise in the SEC this year. Kentucky, led by number 22, all 290 pounds of him, Jared Lorenzen. And then number 19, Air Force, taking on BYU. Air Force with a great comeback a couple of weeks ago against Utah. Has left them bubbling with confidence. Here at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City, Iowa. Area code 319. Mark Jones, Bob Davie, and Holly Rowe down in the field. And what a game it's been. The guys with the cobs of corn on their head treated to quite a performance with 27 unanswered points by Kurt Ferentz's team.
As happy as he is right now, he's thinking one thing. Well, actually, he's thinking a couple things because it's happened a couple weeks in a row. What is it?
Come back.
Come back.
Yep.
Come back.
Doug will be reminding his troops of that just a little bit, if not indirectly, then directly at halftime. Kading. And the Spartans will start off on their own 20-yard line. Let's take a look at some of the big plays of the day so far by the Hawkeyes. The kickoff return by Jermel Lewis just moments after Michigan State had marched down the field to score a touchdown. Lewis coming back 95 yards the other way, untouched. And then Pagel with a pick. Once again, Smoker was looking. And it was a pick 6. And then the next one was a huge connection between Jones and Banks.
To win on the road, you better control the kicking game, and you better not give up big plays. And Michigan State has been unsuccessful in both of those things.
And Bob, what about Michigan State? They are coming off a bye week. You as a coach, there is no real formula there to handle your team, is there, in terms of what you do during a off week? I mean, how many days off do you give them? Do you give them days off? Michigan State gave their players Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off.
Difficult decision, and I thought it was interesting that Bobby Williams chose to give his players Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, then come back and practice Thursday, Friday, Saturday, then keep them there over the weekend. Normally you give college football players a chance to have the weekend off and maybe get home and get refreshed and get re-energized. But even more interesting, Mark, was the fact that they didn't scrimmage and they didn't have any contact. So they've gone really 2 weeks now without contact. But Michigan State, this is a pivotal game for them. High expectations coming into the season. 7 of their first 8 football games at home. A lot of people, a lot of knowledgeable people thought Michigan State would be undefeated right now at this point in the season. This is a big crossroads game right now for Michigan State coming in here at Iowa City.
Yeah, and Iowa, meanwhile, at 2-0, along with Ohio State up near the top of the Big Ten standings so far. Michigan with a key game today against Penn State. Penn State losing to Iowa a couple of weeks ago. At home at that. First down and 10 for the Spartans. The handoff is to David Richard, the freshman out of St. Louis, Missouri. Plows his way beyond the 30-yard line to the 32. But as we mentioned a few moments ago, look at what has happened to Iowa in the past in terms of being the victims almost of comebacks.
And you hate to bring up the negatives, but you know that Kirk Ferentz right there is thinking about that. But let's give Iowa credit. They have played basically a dominant first half here in all phases against Michigan State.
First down and 10. Handoff is to Richard once again. And that's the end of the first half. Bobby Williams' team trailing with a daunting task ahead in the next 2 periods of play. Right now, let's go back to the studio. Reese Davis in the Nibley for Men halftime report.
Mark, another impressive first half performance from the Hawkeyes. 27 points they put on Michigan State. But the question about the Hawkeyes has been the ability to hold that lead. Glad to have you with us on the Nivea halftime report. Trev Alberts is here with me. And we've seen, as Mark and Bob were talking about, Iowa blow first half leads. But what is different about this pass defense so far today? They're ranked 116th in the country. They've done a nice job.
Well, I think they're flying around a lot better. I think they are playing better, but I think on the other side, I think you have to look at Jeff Smoker right now. Jeff has not played his best game, couple interceptions. He's underthrowing his wide receivers, but the Iowa defense has came ready to play. They've done a fairly decent job against the run, but they're just flying around, you know? I mean, they're playing good zone defense, mixing up with man coverage, and sooner or later, Bob Sanders is going to flat out come out and smack you in the mouth. You got to love that guy.
I'm a Bob Sanders fan because he will lay a hat.
Yes, he will.
He brings the wood. We've got other people who do this on the Nivea halftime report, like Miami. They lay hats. They're invincible. Right? You can't do anything with the Hurricanes, right? Don't tell Bobby Bowden that.
Back here at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City, Iowa, Michigan State trailing by 20 points after initially Bob Davie leading by a score of 7-0, 27 unanswered ones scored by Iowa. Coming into the game at the top of the show, we talked about Charles Rogers. His great record of a touchdown in 13 consecutive regular season games in jeopardy right now, Bob. He's been virtually a non-factor.
He has, but don't go away because Charles Rogers will be back. Give Iowa credit, though. They've made it extremely difficult on Charles Rogers. The second thing, Jeff Smoker has underthrown him. Here's an example of that on the deep ball, but you sense that Charles Rogers is starting to get a little bit frustrated. But when the great players get frustrated, they step up and make big plays. I look for Charles Rogers to make some things happen here in the second half.
He's a guy that is no stranger to heroics. Remember against Notre Dame a few weeks ago, that touchdown catch, which you've probably seen ad nauseum right now, over and over again at the back of the end zone. Getting that left foot inbounds. Maybe the catch of the year, so surely Charles Rogers poised and ready to mount some type of challenge to that Iowa defense here in the second half as Michigan State will start on offense here in the third quarter. Kading's kick to the back of the end zone. Let's take a look at our Gateway game track so far. Iowa has made several key big plays today, including Jamel Lewis and this 95-yard kickoff return. And then it was Hagel stepping in for the interception and took it back 6 the other way. His third interception of the year. And then C.J. Jones takes it to the house on the catch from Brad Banks. That was 62 yards, and that's where we are right now. First down and 10 for the Spartans. The toss to Moss. Turns it north-south and is brought down after a gain of about 2 by Howard Hodges. Let's go downstairs, find out what's happening with Holly Rowe. Holly?
Guys, this sign was posted all over the Iowa locker room this week. The hay is not in the barn. That's an old farmer's saying means the work is not done yet. Kurt Ferentz said he reminded players of that in the locker room based on their giving up big fourth quarters in the past. For Bobby Williams, they burst out of the locker room. The doors slammed open. The team ran out on the field and actually ran me over. He said, we've got to come out and play fired up just like these kids are right now. He also said Iowa's done a good job taking away Charles Rogers. Look for them to isolate him more here in the second half.
All right, Holly, and don't get run over anytime soon. We need you down there. Smoker runs into his own man and is brought down behind the line of scrimmage at the 17-yard line. Number 45, Jonathan Babineau, who is described as a diamond in the rough, really making a mark on defense now.
Iowa, give them credit. 4-man rush. You're going to see Babineau with a great effort. Keep chasing, keep chasing. Right here, number 48, Babineau on the sack. Great effort right there by Jonathan Babineau.
In spring football last year, had a teammate just step on his foot, ended up breaking a bone in his foot. Ended up missing a good portion of time, but is back in earnest now. 3rd down and 14. Smoker with time. And now steps up, fumbles it. And Fred Barr pounced on the loose ball for the Hawkeyes.
Just right now plays 2 deep zone. The corner just harassing Charles Rogers. DJ Johnson. Once again, Jeff Smoker in a 3rd and 15. You're not going to scramble for it. And he coughs the football up. Jonathan Babineau with stripping the football. Babineau, a converted fullback, gets the ball out of there. Fred Barr recovers. An awful way for Michigan State to start this second half.
Oh, no doubt. 1st down and 10 now. In great field position, working with a short field. At the 21-yard line. Cervantes and Fred Russell time. Bouncing it outside, Russell. Got a nice block. Maybe a hold on the edge by Hinkle. Saw a lot of Fred Russell, Bob, early in the first half, but not much in the second quarter. And of course, at 5'8", durability sometimes a question.
And coming into this game, Fred Russell with a shoulder injury, but he showed a lot of juice right there on that run. Mark, you could see his explosiveness right there.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Spot of the foul. Still 1st down.
Reese, what's happening down there in Little Havana in Miami?
All right, Mark, just before the half, the Canes driving deep in the half, down by 10 points to Florida State. Ken Dorsey, Kellen Winslow Jr., touchdown. 17-14 at the half, and Small Lord just hit Aaron Galladay for the touchdown, and Nebraska has the lead.
Right after the penalty here, it'll be 1st down and 14. Russell again cuts it back. Russell keeps those feet moving. His forward progress will take him up to the 11-yard line. About a yard short of the 1st down, a pickup. Boy, he got that 14 yards.
Zone blocking at its best. And right now, you see the cutback, the vision of a Fred Russell. And you're going to see him kick it into overdrive right here with the explosiveness. And I'm not sure at the end of this that it shouldn't have been a penalty late on Michigan State. A little bit of roughness at the end of that play on Thomas Wright, number 43, lifting his leg up off the ground.
2nd down and 1. Russell letting his game do the talking, hesitates, patiently finds the hole, and gets the 1st down. Fred Russell has really been basking in the glow of the spotlight of late, averaging 144 yards per game coming into this contest. Interestingly enough, his visit to Michigan State was taken with Terrell Dorsch, now a DB for the Spartans. Their host was Josh Shaw, the defensive lineman now in the NFL. Russell told me, hey, I had a great time, but not that good. I chose Iowa.
You sense with Fred Russell, the thing that great players have, that extra gear that a Charles Rogers has. You just sense that he's going to will it into being a positive run.
1st down and goal to go. Fred Russell again. Vision will score you some touchdowns. The Hawkeyes strike again.
We talked earlier about the outside zone where offensive linemen are just totally synchronized with a flat step. This play is designed to go outside. Michigan State builds a wall, and Fred Russell breaks it back and smells that goal line. It's amazing how deep he gets that ball in the backfield, Mark. The fact that they have him back there at 9 yards.
That is the 6th touchdown of the year for Fred Russell. And Bob, you talked about it earlier. Sometimes when you have a guy who's a little bit shorter than the average running back, it's tough to pick him up. Sometimes what you can't see really can hurt you, like Fred Russell. We'll be right back. Been a story of turnovers so far today for the Michigan State Spartans. Iowa able to take advantage of those turnovers, leading about 34-7. They've scored 17 points off of 3 miscues by the Spartans. Wooden's kick knuckles down to the 6. The Spartans will start off on their own 20. One more look at the touchdown.
I want to show you something right here. Is a great picture of zone blocking, how flat Iowa's offensive line gets. They get everybody running east and west, and Michigan State chooses to flatten out with him. So as you see this progress, you're going to see everybody going east and west, except one guy decides right here to go north and south, and it shows a great picture of everybody going sideways, the running back getting up the field. Iowa studies the Denver Broncos a lot in the offseason, and that's where this zone scheme has come from.
Damon Dowdell, Bob, now in at quarterback, completes his first pass to B.J. Lovett. And we love going to Reese in the studio. Reese?
Parnell Williams may be the best pure runner in college football. He's certainly got some company. He's certainly right up there. He's 9th in the country in rushing, and watch him find a little seam against Arkansas and go in for Auburn. But he may be a Cadillac, but Fred Talley looks a little bit like a Porsche here. He's going to go 80 yards to the house for the Right Reverend Houston Nuts team, and they're back on top. 21-17 deep in the first half.
All right, Reese, and back here, the new quarterback, Damon Dowdell, is a freshman, so actually in 5 games. And a total of just 45 minutes. Going up top. And Rogers had one fall through his arms. Been an afternoon punctuated by that type of frustration by number 1, Charles Rogers. Dowdell put it right where it had to go.
If anything Charles Rogers struggles with sometimes is making what some may refer to as the routine catch. And here certainly Damon Dowdell gives him an opportunity to make a play, and Charles didn't make it. He's one of those players that makes the tremendous catch, the acrobatic catch, but sometimes is inconsistent on making a simpler catch.
Sets up a 3rd down and 7 for Michigan State. Dowdell a little bit more mobile than Smoker, and tiptoes out of bounds at the 31-yard line for the Michigan State first down. So they get a little bit more of a escapability dimension with Dowdell in there, Bob.
And what's going through this young man's mind right here on the sidelines, Jeff Smoker. The high expectations coming into this season. He's been now a 3-year starter. People don't appreciate the ups and downs of college football. A 19, 20-year-old young man, a great young man that I had the chance to recruit, how much he's invested in this. So the dynamics of seeing Damon Dowdell in that game right now.
Dowdell hands it off to number 11, David Richard, the 6'1", 230-pound freshman. But back to Smoker for a second. We talked earlier about how offensive coordinator Mo Watts told him, you're not just one of the guys anymore. The spotlight's going to be on you as quarterback with the high expectations for this Spartan team. And Smoker said himself, anything short of winning the Big Ten is going to be a disappointment this year.
Exactly, and that's the kind of expectations he had personally and the expectations he had for this football team. But Bobby Williams did the right thing. Jeff Smoker 2 interceptions and then coughs the ball up on the first series of the 3rd quarter. You have to give the young guy a chance here.
Dowdell under pressure, fumble. Roth knocked it loose, and the Hawkeyes have it again. Cole recovered it. That's the 4th turnover of the game for Michigan State.
Maybe I spoke too soon on giving the young guy his opportunity, but any time you get blindsided as a quarterback, coming from the quarterback's blind side, there's a chance that you can cough the football up. You're going to see Rowe, the defensive end, but you're going to see, coming from the blind side, strip the football out, and you're going to see Colin Cole come in and recover the fumble. But number 31, Matt Roth, yesterday Kirk Ferentz told us he is a very aggressive football player.
First down and 10 for the Hawkeyes. 2 tight ends, 2 wideouts. That's Jones in motion, who already has a touchdown catch. Banks to pass. Complete. That's number 9, Mo Brown. With Mo yards for Iowa.
They are feeling it right now.
They're in a groove. Oh,
this
yeah.
whole stadium is feeling it. And go back to last week. Iowa playing at times sluggish, at times sloppy against Purdue, but winning that football game. Kirk Ferentz with a great opportunity to teach lessons this week, but in a positive atmosphere, having won last week. And they have come out here hitting on all cylinders today.
They've really kept their attention. 1st and 10 after the 12-yard pickup. Russell brought down to the line of scrimmage that time. But number 59, Clifford Dukes, starting defensive end for the Spartans, has been as consistent as anyone has been all year on the defense for Michigan State.
The thing I love about Fred Russell, you see him right there with a smile on his face. He loves to play the football game. He really enjoys it. Great personality.
A lot going on with him this week. Told me about schoolwork and trying to balance school and football, keep it up. Handed in a nice term paper. He feels he would be deserving about B+ or an A on that.
You think this professor may be listening?
I'm campaigning for him, certainly.
Better work a little harder than that.
2nd down and 11. Here he is, writing a successful paper here. Russell out of bounds at the 8-yard line, and another pretty good back in the Big Ten with more Reese Davis.
Yes, Mark, I've heard that this freshman is highly touted. Maurice Claret against San Jose State is 27-7.
Frenzel looks for the end zone.
Frenzel is going to dump it out. 13. Good things happen many times when 13 gets 34-7. Buckeyes are rolling, and look at this thing. Looks as if the Illini, they're motivated by the Cannon Trophy. It's 24-0.
Interesting matchup next week for Purdue as they are at home against Michigan.
I think Maurice Claret with some vertical right there.
Yeah, got some hops. 3rd down and 4. Little option this time. And Russell brought down behind the line of scrimmage at the 11. Michael Abinjo and Clifford Dukes making the stop on the play. Let's go downstairs to Holly.
Guys, some people here in Iowa have made a case that Fred Russell is being overlooked. After all, he is rushing for more yards a game than Maurice Claret from Ohio State, but the offensive line said it best. Sometimes they overlook him in the huddle. He is so little, they forget he's there. The only times they know he's there is when he comes back from a hard hit and he's giggling. They say he always laughs after somebody hits him hard.
Wow, interesting way to take a hit. Kading in for a field goal attempt. He's already made 2 today from 36 and 43. This one from 28. And the streak lives. Another kick. He has made 17 straight, dating back to last year. We'll be back. .51 to go in the 3rd quarter of play. Iowa with a commanding 30-point lead. Folks, if you're just joining us, Michigan State took the opening drive down the field and scored to make it 7-0. Since that point, it has been a story of opportunity for Iowa, converting on turnovers to the tune of 37 unanswered points.
Welcome to Bobby Williams. You come back with Jeff Smoker, or you keep the freshman Danny Dowdell in the game.
Well, each quarterback has turned it over here in the 2nd half. Hayes takes a knee 9 yards deep. And don't forget that join us later tonight. It'll be LSU number 15 against number 16 Florida. Rex Grossman trying to get his season back on the rails after really having a couple of poor games. His Heisman hopes fading very quickly. LSU, one of the intriguing stories in the SEC. That pivotal SEC game tonight at 7:45 Eastern time on ESPN. Damon Dowdell still in at quarterback, his 2nd series. Completes the pass. Love it. Brought down roughly at the 20.
A physical football player roaming in that secondary is number 33, Bob Sanders. And here you're going to see the strength of Bob Sanders just bench press B.J. Lovett to the ground right there.
only pressed about 320 a few times. Second down and 5. Hand off to Jaron Hayes, the 5'9" freshman. He's the speed guy of the 3 backs, and there's a flag down at the 27-yard line. But Bob, one thing we haven't really talked about recently anyway was the proficiency of the secondary and the whole defense, actually, of Iowa. So much was made of them being ranked number 116.
Illegal formation offense. Not enough men on the line. Penalty is declined. Third down.
They were next to last against the pass, but they've responded today.
And right now, you sense them gaining confidence each time that ball's snapped. It's like a feeding frenzy. You look at the sacks, you look at the forced fumbles, the interceptions, and most importantly, the points off of turnovers.
Boy, Norm Parker really is a sly fox, isn't he?
A great third down defense for Iowa. Michigan State is 2 for 7 on third downs.
Dowdell completes the pass to Lovett. And is spotted just about a foot short of the 30-yard line.
I think you go for it right here if it's not a first down.
You're down 30 points.
Go for it.
Iowa has given up some big leads in the second half. But Michigan State right now anyway not showing many vital signs of life.
One thing I found, it's a lot easier to make those fourth down decisions from up here in this box. Well, really, they're fourth down suggestions.
Right.
Down there, you make decisions.
I like that. Okay, 4th down and 1.
I didn't hesitate, did I?
No,
I said,
you
go
were
for it.
very decisive at that time. Bailey gets it off. Not a great effort. Hinkle with the fair catch call at the 46. And boy, Michigan's spirit's broken right now. But what about breaking some other things, Holly Rowe?
Well, Iowa's goal is to be the most physical team in the Big Ten, and their strength and conditioning coach, Chris Doyle, has a great motive for them. All of the players wear these shirts, break the rock. In their locker room is a huge rock. The analogy, if one player hits it once, not much will happen, but everybody hits it together, it will eventually break. The team says when they meet their goals at the end of the season, they will break the rock and everyone will get to take home a piece. They say when they leave the weight room doors, over the doors there's a sign, the road to the Rose Bowl starts here, and the players really buy into it and believe it.
And they certainly have, especially in the last 3 weeks, Holly. Russell brought down at the 48-yard line. Let's go back to Reese in the studio.
6 overtimes, and the Right Reverend Nuts fellas have a little energy, it seems. Up 21-17 on Auburn. Damon Duvall gets that punt blocked by Bo Mosley. It sets up a hog field goal right before the half, and Arkansas is up by a touchdown at the break.
Something about strength coaches. You can always pick them out, can't you?
He wasn't hard to pick out. He's not a secondary coach. Talk about that rock. They put some explosives in there today.
Yep.
Michigan State's helped them put a couple sticks in there themselves, made it a little easier.
That offensive line, a prime example of the type of work Chris Doyle has done with that strength program. Russell brought down at the 48-yard line. And what about the growth and development, literally, of that offensive line and the evolution of them as a group since the time they were freshmen, Bob?
3 of those were tight ends, Mark, when they came in. You look at the unbelievable weight gains they've made. That shows me hard work, dedication, hours in that weight room. And that's why this is a veteran, experienced offensive line that has an awful lot invested in this football program.
Paying dividends. Banks rifled it, but it's incomplete. Intended for Hinkle, broken up nicely by Broderick Nelson on the corner. And it'll be 4th down. In comes the punt team led by David Bradley. You almost got the feeling that Banks could have taken off and gotten it himself that time.
I'm surprised he didn't, Mark. He actually had contained broken right there.
4th and 6, the Hawkeyes with a commanding 30-point lead. With 6:04 to go here in the 3rd quarter of play. Kavanaugh standing on his own 11-yard line for the Spartans. And his flag down on the field.
Prior to snap, False start offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Mark, you wonder at some point, do you put number 1 Charles Rogers back here as the punt returner? I know Kavanaugh last week had an 88-yarder, but Michigan State's at the point right now, and the reason I thought they should have gone for 4th down, there's no turning back now. Pull out all stops. This is a critical football game for this football program today in Iowa City.
Still suffering a bit right now anyway from their road woes. Just 1-7 on the road over the last couple of years. Kavanaugh back at the 15. Brought down at the 9-yard line. He was running east-west and was tackled by number 25, Pagel, who's made his indelible mark very obvious on this game today. We'll be right back after this.
ESPN's presentation of college football brought to you by the more powerful Acura 3.5 RL and by McDonald's.
Well, from the time you hit the ground at the airport at Cedar Rapids, at the rental car counter, along the pedestrian mall, to checking into the hotel, everybody asking, what about those Hawkeyes? So far, they're answering a lot of questions. And come up with a pick. DJ Johnson. Back to the 18-yard line. And that's the 3rd turnover for Michigan State here in the second half. 5 overall.
Michigan State again trying to go up top to Charles Rogers. Another case of just a simply underthrown deep ball. Damon Dow follows the lead right there of Jeff Smoker and underthrows Charles Rogers. Give Iowa's defense credit today, though. They have risen to the challenge.
Yeah, especially the secondary. A much maligned secondary. 1st down and 10. Russell on the run. Brought down at the 12-yard line. And Reese, a big battle go down in the ACC. What's up?
And the number 11 team in all the land in trouble. North Carolina State against North Carolina. Darian Durant will find James Faison for the touchdown. Gives them a 10-point lead, but the Wolfpack now down in the red zone. Pressing the score at the 5.
I'll tell you, Phillip Rivers, quarterback for NC State, one of the top quarterbacks in the country right now, facing an uphill battle. Dowdell with the interception just a few moments ago for the Spartans. On the sidelines watching. 2nd down and 3 for the Hawkeyes. In command here in the 3rd quarter. Banks audibling, and here comes some pressure from the Spartans. And it's picked off in the end zone by Cedric Henry. That was Banks' 3rd interception of the year. His decision-making up until then almost flawless.
Brad Banks gets a little bit sloppy right here. Another case of the underthrown fade. What happens on this play? Brad Banks actually audibleized here because Cedric Henry was locked on straight man-to-man coverage with Mo Brown. But once again, throw it up where your receiver has a chance to make the play.
That's the 1st turnover of the game for the Hawkeyes. Jeff Smoker back in at quarterback. 1st and 10 from their own 20. Incomplete. That's the type of day it's been for Lovett and for Rogers. And Bob Sanders brought a little bit of heat.
Bob Sanders, a physical football player, and he makes the wide receiver right here pay for dropping this football. If you're B.J. Lovett, you might as well go ahead and catch it because here comes Bob Sanders going for that throat.
As they played the replay on the big screen here at the stadium at Kinnick, you could hear the fans give a collective, ooh.
They know number 33. And the problem, so does Michigan State's receiver.
2nd and 10 for Smoker. They run the screen, incomplete. Moss dropped it. Hodges in on the pressure on the quarterback, Smoker. It'll be 3rd down and long.
Mark, They always talk about sharks in the water. When there's blood in the water, right now there are sharks in the water, and that's Iowa's defense right now. They smell blood. Michigan State continues to self-destruct.
Sanders had his own hat come off after that hit.
Time for somebody on Michigan State's football team to step up and make a play right now. It's that simple. Step up and make a play.
Well, let's look at Charles Rogers.
They better hurry because they're going to get a 25-second clock violation.
Rogers to the right of Smoker. And they didn't get the playoff in time. Flags down on the field. You know, Smoker has passed for 200-plus yards every game this season. Today, with just 85 yards passing.
Snap did not get off in time. Dead ball. Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
The most difficult thing. Everybody sees the obvious right now, that it's going completely downhill for Michigan State. It is, how do I get it solved? How do I get it going this way instead of this way? And that's the challenge you have on that sideline.
Williams players have great affection for him right now with a strange way of showing it. Third and long. Smoker. Complete to Rogers, who's still on his feet. It'll depend on where they mark this one. They're going to mark it just short of the 30, even though he was hit beyond the 30 and would have had the first down.
Mark, I don't like that spot. But I also think Michigan State should go for this on 4th down.
Yeah, Bobby Williams didn't like the spot either. No doubt that's what he's arguing with the official about. 4th and 1, and in comes the punt team. Williams not at all happy as Rogers made the catch beyond the 30-yard line. Jason Daly, the Californian, into punt. His own 15. Hinkle with the fair catch at the 40. Under dark, rather ominous skies here at Kinnick Stadium. Iowa with the lead. Iowa against Michigan State. The Hawkeyes ranked number 20 in the country. Ranked for the first time in the national polls since '97. Mark Jones, Bob Davie, and Holly Rowe here. Don't forget, College Football Saturday continues tonight on ESPN 2, 6:30 Eastern. South Carolina against Kentucky, the feel-good story of the year in the SEC. And then it's followed by BYU at number 19 Air Force at 10 p.m. Eastern time. 1st and 10. Banks, who was picked on his last pass, completes this one to his tight end, Tony Jackson. And Jackson is out near the first down beyond the 50. Let's go to Reese in the studio.
Mark, we sort of expected a shootout between Clemson and Virginia. We're getting a slugfest. 10-6 Tigers, 4th and goal. It will interrupt Billy Cohen. Barely kept his feet, and the Wahoos on top by 3 in Wisconsin, stretching it out a bit against the Fighting Terry DiNardo, just 29-10.
All right, 37-30 with 3.5 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Banks on the waggle. To Clark. Clark makes the catch for the first down at the 37-yard line. You could see Banks motion to have Clark go downfield.
The mobile quarterback buys you a lot of times to do a lot of things.
12-yard
See
pickup.
Brad Banks again off the play-action fake, staying alive, buys himself some time. Field general. Dallas Clark comes open against zone coverage.
Preseason All-American, former quarterback, former linebacker, too good an athlete to play
It's his
defense.
first catch today, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, it is. 1st down and 10. And there he goes again. Banks just missing Clark. He was isolated on Wedlow, a linebacker.
I think Bobby Williams had a legitimate argument here on this 3rd down. The first down marker is right at the 30. Charles Rogers catches it, and it's obvious he's past the 30-yard line, and Bob Sanders knocks him back. So I think Bobby Williams had a legitimate point right there. It should have been 1st down.
Second down and 10. Hawkeyes with the ball. Backside of the eye. Russell the deep back. Cervantes the fullback. And it's Russell. Little Fred with a big heart and a huge motor. Out near another first down. Out of Romulus, Michigan.
You have to love this. Once again, the 5'6" tailback. He sees it right now. Goes north and south, and he's not very big, but neither is that hole. And watch him sneak through that. He's a dynamic little player, Mark.
Sure is. On third down and 1. Hawkeyes keep it. And it's first down and 10. Fred Russell grew up just down the interstate 94 from both Michigan State and Michigan. Look at our Miller Lite High Life storyline. Iowa with 37 unanswered points after trailing 7-0, and Michigan State with 5 turnovers, 3 coming in the second half here.
Add to Michigan State's turnovers a 94-yard kickoff return, a 62-yard post pattern against 3 deep coverage.
First and 10. Russell run out of bounds at the 25. I mentioned earlier that he's going to be enjoying a lot more notoriety and fame as the season progresses because of those numbers, and he'll have to change his phone number.
Mark, Iowa's offensive line is coached by Joe Philbin. Joe Philbin came to Iowa from Harvard, an Ivy League background, and he has done an excellent job with this offensive line. And Fred Russell would be the first one to tell you. Is he taking the guys out to eat? Is he doing anything like that?
He says the money he has in his pocket goes jingle jangle instead of the stuff that folds. He's waiting until he gets the stuff that folds. The paper.
Good point.
Second down and 8. Going into the end zone. What a catch by Jones. His second touchdown of the game.
Go back to that 4th down. Why I thought Bobby Williams should go for it. Don't give the football back to Iowa right now. They're too hot.
C.J. Jones, 25 yards on the catch and the touchdown.
Are they hot?
Hotter than July, partner. They are smoking. 43 points up on the board with more than a quarter to play. The Iowa Hawkeyes, one of the top scoring teams in the nation, coming into this contest averaging just under 40 points a game, already surpassing them.
For about the 3rd time today, you are going to see Brad Banks with the pump fake. Great protection by the offensive line. He goes up the top, and you see right there the athleticism of C.J. Jones. Reminds me of Mark Jones going up over the top and making a play. Here's the ISO right out here on Broderick Nelson. Once again, just a big-time play by C.J. Jones. But think about the protection by Iowa's offensive line.
Had a chance to visit with Jones recently and asked him what he wants to do after his playing days are over. Says he wants to be an agent. And Bob, I think if he keeps making catches like that, he'll have to end up representing himself, maybe in the league. 2 catches today for 87 yards, the former junior college All-American out of Boynton Beach, Florida. A lot of Florida guys on this Iowa football crew. Jones and Brown, number 9, Fort Lauderdale.
You want to get out of that heat down there. You should play football in the fall where the leaves are changing colors and it's a little bit crisp.
None of those parkas for me. Well, ESPN Sunday Night Football continues and features with the game of the week in the NFL. The Dolphins and the Broncos, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Ricky Williams chewing up real estate. The second leading rusher in the NFL right now. And Brian Greasy taking on the team, the hometown that he grew up in down in Miami. Gonna make sure that he doesn't trip over any poodles in the driveway and hurt himself.
You're cold. Let that thing go. That was a month ago.
How does that happen, though? Really? A little, it wasn't a poodle. Little shishi dog. Wasn't it? Sure it was. It was Papa's Ben.
Oh, it was the St. Bernard.
First and 10. Been a dog day afternoon for Michigan State. Smoker slides in safely at the 25. Let's go to Reese.
All right, Mark, and North Carolina State takes advantage of a Darian Durant fumble inside his own 5. Rivers has just scored a touchdown to get it to 17-13. P.A. McClendon goes into the house again, and Wolfpack back on top of the Tar Heels, 20-17.
Second down and 5 right here for the Spartans. Jeff Smoker back at the helm. Hands it off to Moss. Moss brought down just shy of the 30-yard line by Howard Hodges. Let's go back to the previous play.
The frustration level on the Michigan State football team is evident right here. You see Charles Rogers going back at DJ Johnson. It's been a tough afternoon for that young man.
I feel for him a little bit. A lot of people have been trying to hone in and demand his attention of late, including the likes of MTV. Want to follow him around for a couple of weeks and do one of those real-world stories. They might see some real-world frustration after this week. Third down and 1. Moss spins forward and gets the first down out of the 32-yard line. Moss with a rather fierce-looking scowl on his face. To no avail so far, though, with 8 seconds to go in the third quarter. First 3 periods are in the books. And as far as Iowa fans are concerned, the money is in the banks. We'll be right back. Iowa football fans reveling and basking in the success of their team right now, leading 44-7. Back here for the beginning of the fourth quarter play. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie. Holly Rowe down in the field. Smoker going up top and overthrows Rogers. Wow. He just can't win today. Sometimes it's an underthrow, other times it's an overthrow. But one of the stories for Iowa, big plays by C.J. Jones. 2 touchdown catches today. One from 62 yards, another right there. And then Smoker put it on the ground. One of 3 turnovers in the second half for Michigan State so far. That's our gateway game track. Second down and 10 for the Spartans.
Charles Rogers now lined up as the inside receiver. Last time he was the outside receiver.
Smoker rolling out. Ball's down to the 39. About 3 yards short of the first down. It'll be third down, about 3 to go.
Trying to get Rogers lined up on Sanders. Sanders jams him right there, really playing zone coverage, playing the inside seam, but playing kind of a man technique on it. But it was actually zone coverage. Bob Sanders trying to knock Charles Rogers around a little bit.
Third down and 3. Spartans are just 3 of 10 today on third down situations. And the Hawkeyes call a timeout. Smoker was pulled early in the third quarter. Back in the ball game now in the last 3 series. We're going to take a break and come right back. Back for the fourth quarter. 14-19 to play.
Charles Rogers on Antoine Allen at the top of your screen right here.
Empty formation for Jeff Smoker in the offense. A quick slant to Rogers. He caught it somehow and wiggles free up to the 49-yard line. Got the first down for Michigan State.
You see how difficult it is for Charles Rogers. You have Antoine Allen there, but Pagel, the free safety, eyeballing him. Antoine has him outside. Pagel has him inside. They're double covering him. Great throw by Jeff Smoker right there.
Nose of the ball now resting at the 44. Pagel has had an outstanding run of 3 consecutive weeks. And Rogers' streak of 13 consecutive games in the regular season with a touchdown catch in jeopardy. Smoker overthrows him by about 5 yards. He was working on DJ Johnson. Now the streak that I just referred to started a year ago against this very Iowa team. October 13th, 2001. A 13-yard touchdown pass right there from Smoker to Rogers started the streak. Michigan State won that game 31-28. But it has been an afternoon punctuated by frustration for number 1. Just a junior, some people wondering whether he'll be back for his senior year.
Michigan State coaches say he has a tremendous work ethic in practice.
2nd and 10. Smoker complete to Agim Shabai. And let's go back to the studio and Reese.
All right, Mark, you know, a weapon for Nebraska who struggled to find a way to score points has been DeJuan Gross. He's 3rd in the nation in punt returns. I'm going to measure that one off right there. I'm going to say that's 88. DeJuan Gross logging on and housing it for the 3rd time this season. Watch him break the tackle here at the end. That's just conditioning. 21-13, Huskers on top of Mizzou. That's your boy that way.
That one's still surprisingly close. 3rd down and 2 for Michigan State. Another empty formation for Jeff Smoker in the offense. Incomplete. Broken up by Kevin Worthy. Worthy with a nice job in coverage that time. Last week he struggled a little bit in coverage, but not there.
They actually took Fred Worthy out last week, but here he makes a good job of just staying with it, fighting, and stripping that football out of there.
Worthy, a 6'2", 235-pound junior. Getting Michigan State in a 4th and 2 situation. They're 2 of 3 in 4th down situations this year.
The last time they went to the slant at the top with Charles Rogers.
He comes the other way this time. A little bit of contact and a late flag intended for B.J. Lovett. He was covered by Grant Steen, maybe just a bit too close. And it'll give the Spartans a 1st down, keeping the drive alive. Now, Michigan State has some very tall receivers, Bob. We saw them on the field before the game. Lovett is 6'3". Kavanaugh is 6 foot. Rogers 6'4".
I'm impressed with Iowa playing much tighter pass coverage than they've played the last couple weeks. Here you see Grant Steen does get there a little bit early. 3rd pass interference today for Iowa, but give them credit. They're much more aggressive this week than they've been on pass defense.
1st down and 10. Smoker complete to Shabai. Shabai brought down to the 31-yard line by Bob Sanders, and a flag coming. Smoker getting up very slowly, limping his way to his feet. A personal foul against Iowa.
The personal foul does not occur here, but you're going to see Iowa again. Rhodes really twists that knee of Jeff Smoker, and it's amazing that he didn't get injured on that play severely. You're going to see the personal foul come in here late, right there. I don't like that call. Grant Steen coming in, but it wasn't a helmet-to-helmet type collision.
Shabai seemed to be on his way down still. Meanwhile, Dowdell back in the ballgame at quarterback. Incomplete. Intended for Eric Knott, his tight end.
Michigan State loves the ability of this young tight end, Eric Knott. I believe that's the first football that they've thrown to him today. He's a 265-pound tight end. Very, very, very athletic.
And another big target for their quarterbacks. With Knott at 6'4" and Randall at 6'5".
That surprises you right there. 0 receptions for 0 yards. The last couple weeks, he's been a key receiver for them.
For Rogers, and overthrown.
You're going to see Rogers in the slot right now, running a corner route on the safety. He was open. The ball severely overthrown.
Dowdell in for Jeff Smoker right there on the bench, who was shaken up a couple of plays ago with Roth rolling into his knee. Third down and 10. Dowdell into the end zone, and Rodgers couldn't make any miracles of magic on that one. Considine breaking it up.
Not much question where they were going to go. They go up the top again, and Considine comes in and said, hey, I've got a little vertical too, Charles. Goes up and gets that ball out of there.
Going some hops.
Right here. Ooh, great play by the safety, Considine. 4th and 10. Michigan with no other choice. Michigan State, excuse me, with no choice but to go for it.
Barr comes back into the ball game.
Charles Rodgers, Bob Sanders locked up in the slot.
Nice matchup. Dowdell into the end zone and overthrows Rodgers. And the defense holds. The offense takes over on downs. "15 plays in all on the drive for Bobby Williams' offense, and nothing to show for it."
ESPN's presentation of college football brought to you by Saturn, makers of The View, the redesigned L Series, and coming this fall, the all-new Ion. And by brand name tires, oil changes, and more at your neighborhood Walmart Tire and Lube Express.
12:57 to go in the fourth quarter. Iowa in control, 44-7. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey and Holly Rowe down in the field. 1st and 10 for the Hawkeyes, who have dominated all afternoon. Banks now audibly. Into the run. Check to Grevin, who stopped up at the 15-yard line. Reese, things really heating up in earnest in the ACC, huh?
I would say so, Mark. Might be about time to start giving a little love to Al Groh in Virginia. Up 16-10 on Clemson. Matt Shaw finding Heath Miller. The Cavs started the season 0-2, but they're about to win their 5th straight game if they can hang on. It's 22-10.
Well, what an up-and-down season for Clemson. We saw them a few weeks ago. 2nd down and 10. Banks, the 6'1" senior, leading the offense all day and doing a good job at it. Got off to a slow start, but had a couple of touchdown passes to Jones. This is Greving on the handoff. Greving in for Fred Russell right now, and let's go downstairs for more from Holly Rowe.
Guys, I'm here with Tawana Spencer, the mother of diminutive back Fred Russell. And what did you do when he was growing up to teach him that size isn't the most important thing, that short people can excel and be just as tough?
Hey, I just told him to get out there and do what, hey, you can do. Them legs of his, ooh.
You said he's always been fast. Even when he was a little kid, you had to chase him sometimes, huh?
Yes, I believe in discipline. And I couldn't catch him. A couple times I had to catch him in the bathroom. He would be up under that bunk bed.
Now, I know this is kind of unusual, but you work at GM, and you work with DeJuan Moss's mom, the starting tailback for Michigan State. She even made you this little Iowa pin. Have you guys been talking trash over the weekend here?
No. We just wish our boys to get out there and do their best.
All right, well, your son's having a great game today. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
See where Fred gets that personality.
Yeah. Mom let a few secrets out of the bag. You know.
He sees Mom getting a little FaceTime up there. You know, he sees that ESPN camera up there.
From Romulus, Michigan, just out by the Detroit Metro Airport. Yeah, she's getting a lot of love there in the fans, and finding her way through the fans like Fred does through defenders. Dropped immediately after a 34-yard punt was Kavanaugh. And a flag down on the play. And now they're going to pick the flag up. Well, when you look ahead, Bob Davey, you think about where do the Iowa Hawkeyes go from here. They have a pretty favorable schedule coming up. When you look at going to Indiana and then at Michigan, a chance to really string together. You get the feeling something special is happening here in Iowa City this year.
I think particularly, Mark, because they've won some close games. They've had some good fortune, but today their defense has stepped up and matched what their special teams and their offense has been able to do early in the season. So they have to feel good about that right now. They're a complete football team based on today's performance.
Richard with the completion to midfield, and let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. They go, as I mentioned, to Indiana, then at Michigan, and then Wisconsin and Northwestern at home, and then they finish up at Minnesota. So, you know, Iowa, you look at their big win at Penn State, they've already proven that they can win big games on the road, so that should give them a little bit of confidence going into the Michigan game at least.
And the confidence that they have so many weapons on this football team. What the productivity they're getting out of special teams. They know they can run the football. They know they have real good special teams. And the way their defense is played today gives them a lot of confidence.
And Rodgers, once again, maybe a little bit too easy for him. He dropped it.
It goes with the territory. He is the target. Everybody in this stadium knows Charles Rodgers, obviously, but right here, he's had a little bit of that, a history of lack of concentration right there and not making the simple catches.
3rd down and 8.
Iowa fans starting the overrated chant. I don't think that's the case. They have great fans here, but they're not real knowledgeable if they're calling Charles Rodgers overrated. He's not.
Might be missing the boat on that one. 3rd down and 8 for Jeff Smoker. Into traffic. And Rodgers. How's that for overrated? Heck no. Out of the crowd, emerging with the ball, was Rodgers down to the 19-yard line. And we've got a couple of players shaken up back at the 36. It was a 31-yard pickup. DJ Johnson, one of the players, a little bit woozy and shaken up for Iowa. Number 5 right there. Just as you had said, Bob, overrated, certainly not, if you're talking about Rodgers.
Mark, I don't think Michigan State drew it up this way. In fact, I know they didn't. If you look right here, they have a high-low stretch going on, which is fine, but they bring B.J. Lovett into the screen, and they have 3 receivers within 5 yards of each other. So the play was not ran the way it was drawn up, but Charles Rodgers comes up with a big play. You see B.J. Lovett come into the screen. Charles plays takeaway.
Boy, if not for that stumble, he takes it to the house.
I'm going to look close here and see if we see where D.J. Johnson, there it is. D.J. Johnson collides with B.J. Lovett. Right here is where the collision is going to happen. And you see an unsuspecting B.J. Lovett an unsuspecting D.J. Johnson making a play on the ball in a totally vulnerable position, and he collides with B.J. Lovett. It's good to see him get up the field and walk off on his own power.
Yeah, keep in mind that Rodgers right there has that streak of 13 consecutive regular season games with a touchdown catch. That streak in jeopardy right now.
Interesting, we talked to Morris Watts, Mark, this week, you and I, about that streak. And he's glad that Charles broke the record last week, because in some ways it takes the pressure and the responsibility off of trying to get him another touchdown catch.
Yeah. 1st down and 10. Smoker on a misread. Well, one of the big questions coming into the game was, would Charles Rodgers have a field day? Would he eat Iowa's collective lunch? The answer, a resounding no. And the frustration at times showing. Double teamed right there once again. Rodgers still, though, ascending the charts at Michigan State. Closing in on Gibson and Rising.
Graphic. 17 throws. A lot of hidden things in there. A combination of a lot of different things. Good coverage by Iowa at times. Poor throws by Michigan State's quarterbacks at times. So he needs help. As talented as he is, he needs help.
Incomplete. And a flag on the play intended for Eric Knott.
We've got another pass interference on Iowa, Mark, coming in from the backside here.
Let's go to Reese in the studio.
All right, Mark, Tommy Bowden yanked Willie Simmons out of the game, put the freshman Charlie Whitehurst in at quarterback against Virginia. In waning moments, Whitehurst looking for J.J. McKelvey, still looking for him. There he is, touchdown, tried the onside kick, didn't get it, and the Cavaliers have won 5 in a row, 22-17 the final.
That surprises me. I really liked Clemson's football team, talent-wise, when we had them early in the season.
They hung with Florida State that Thursday night game a little while back. We're finally losing, but
I believe that's 4 pass interference penalties on Iowa.
Smoker and a flag down in the backfield at the 24-yard line. The pass was incomplete, intended for Eric Knott once again. This might be a hold. .9:55 to go in the fourth quarter.
Holding, offense. 10-yard penalty, previous spot. Still first down.
Well, that offensive line for Michigan State at times this year has struggled, mainly because they've been put in a lot of 3rd and longs.
You're going to see the center, Otney, right now, trying to block Matt Roth. And right there, no question, WWL World Wrestling takedown right there.
Well, they used to call that offensive line Wall Green, but the store's been closed. First down and 10. And a sack. Hodges, Roth in on the sack of Smoker. Been a rough day for Smoker, the junior. A 3-year starter. Last game against Northwestern had a couple of touchdown passes. Looked like the offense was really starting to turn things around in terms of balance, running the ball well too. But what a difference 10 days can make.
What a difference 2nd and 22 makes. Hard to call plays on 2nd and 22.
Smoker under pressure again. Incomplete, and let's go to Reese. What's up with Florida State Miami?
Let me tell you something, Mark. That Florida State offensive line is dominating. The vaunted Hurricane defensive line. Montre Holland opens a huge hole for Greg Jones, who runs it in like a man, and the Seminoles are up 27-14 in the 4th.
Two-back offense. Give Greg Jones a lead blocker.
That's dangerous.
I heard this week, Mark, he is 250 pounds. 6% body fat.
Unbelievable.
And runs 4.4.
To me, he had the run of the year when he broke about 6 tackles going into the end zone a few games ago. But
only about a 7 or maybe 10-yard run. You think of the one I am, he just dragged guys into the end.
My paper boy is going to throw my Miami Herald paper through my window tomorrow morning if the Canes lose. 3rd and 22. Into the end zone. Kavanaugh incomplete. Well, statistics can sometimes lie. And Jeff Smoker coming into the game had thrown 7 interceptions. But I think in his case so far this year, the statistics are pretty much right on, because he hasn't enjoyed the same type of success that he did a season ago when he was the conference's top-rated passer. Today, just 15 of 31.
Think of the storyline coming in. Michigan State, talented receivers, talented quarterback. Iowa 116th in the nation in pass defense. Only Idaho was lower than Iowa. Give credit to Norm Parker and Iowa's defense.
Rogers not in the game right now. Smoker for Kavanaugh again, and it's incomplete.
Mark, I think we may have a roughing the passer penalty right here.
It's going to keep the drive alive for Michigan State.
You're going to see the roughing the passer penalty right here at the end on Jared Klaus, number 90. Something that you're going to see. We saw George Perlis up in the press box earlier. Norm Parker coached with George Perlis at Michigan State for a lot of years. Think back to the Pittsburgh Steelers and George Perlis, a twisting front. Iowa's one of the better teams in the country on these pass rush twist stunts. And there you see Jared Klaus. I think it's a good call right there, trying to protect Jeff Smoker, the quarterback. Give Norm Parker credit today.
Smoker, he completes the screen, but it's blown up immediately by David Richards. Scott Borland, the walk-on strong safety with a big play.
Mark, I've noticed something. I think that's 5 defensive penalties that I can think of on Iowa's defense. But take that and put that into perspective. They're much more aggressive today. And I'm not certainly advocating big penalties like they've had, but I see an improved, more aggressive Iowa defense. And if they can get this defense, if Norm Parker can keep them improving, they are a legitimate top 10 football team.
What a quantum leap they've made from a couple of weeks ago when we saw them at Happy Valley, Penn State.
You like their style. So they're right now in the evolution of becoming much more aggressive.
Lovett and Johnson back in the game, going into the end zone. Touchdown, what a grab by Lovett. 20 yards. That was the 40th career touchdown pass for Jeff Smoker, 13th this season.
Great to see Michigan State step up and make a play. Give Jeff Smoker credit. He's been getting beat up. Give B.J. Lovett credit, coming up and making a play.
Dave Rayner in for the extra point. And this is Michigan State's first score, first touchdown since their opening drive of the ball game.
And like the first drive, Iowa penalties on defense kept the drive alive.
A little bit too little, too late, but you gotta love it. Welcome back, everyone, to the 36th edition of Iowa against Michigan State. Iowa, number 20 in the country, dominating every aspect of this game after the opening drive.
Onside kick right here if you're Michigan State. A little surprised right there, Mark. At some point, take your chance to win the game.
Jones takes the knee. They go to the 20, and let's go downstairs to Holly.
Guys, one of the things that Michigan State receiver Charles Rogers does in his spare time is play EA Sports PlayStation. Now, he said sometimes he'll play himself one-on-one where he's the opponent, and even he can't stop himself. I guarantee you this, though, next time he chooses a team, it won't be Iowa as the opponent.
He needs to make some of those PlayStation moves.
Looks a little stiff right there, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Moves pretty good, though. A little bigger there in video.
Shoulder pads.
Nathan Chandler in at quarterback. You got to hit the reset button on this game, but there isn't one. Jamel Lewis, who ran Iowa's kickoff back 95 yards for a touchdown to really swing things in Iowa's favor early on the run.
Iowa with their second offense in there. Great opportunity right now for Kirk Ferentz to play some younger players. Not only does it give them experience and help them as players, psychologically it helps so much because these guys work so hard in practice.
Chandler is a former junior college All-American, first teamer. And a quarterback. Second down and 8 for the Hawkeyes. It's been their day. Fires complete to Clinton Solomon, the freshman out of Texas. And Solomon hangs onto the ball after taking a big hit.
Clinton Solomon, a big, good-looking athlete. Played at Fort Worth Eastern Hills High School in Texas. The only other scholarship offer he had was Southwest Texas State, or I believe it was Sam Houston State. Iowa went down there. He was a quarterback in high school, played some receiver. They're really high on him. He's a good-looking young prospect.
Yeah, ran a 13.7 high hurdles, 110-meter high hurdles. He's got some speed to burn. 3rd and 5. Chandler on the rollout. Hey, made something on the improvisation. And now it's going to be ruled incomplete. Intended receiver was number 13, Ramon Ochoa. Well, coming up after the game, it's the College Game Day scoreboard presented by Acura with Reese in the studio. Highlights of Florida State, Miami, the Game Day gang, and the Lone Star State for the OU Texas game, and updates on all of the action in the top 25 today. And man, Florida State putting one on their in-state rivals in Coral Gables.
You think they were a little motivated by being such a big underdog, Mark?
Yeah, very much so. Kavanaugh tackled immediately at the 44-yard line. A 31-yard punt and 2 on the return. The big story of the day when you look back at it, they just smothered, Iowa did, Charles Rogers. Sanders with a pick on that play. Pagel with a pick on that one on Smoker. And then you see the frustration boiling a little bit by Rogers. He usually comes up with those catches too, but not this afternoon. They've thrown to him 18 times. He's made 5 for 78 yards. And that touchdown streak of 13 consecutive regular season games with a score in jeopardy. Pass complete to the 46-yard line.
I think it's going to come back, Mark, with a holding penalty right here on Michigan State. Actually called for a personal foul. I believe it was hands to the face.
Personal foul, illegal hands to the face. 15-yard penalty, previous spot. Still first down.
Bring this one back. Rogers playing with bruised ribs that he injured against Notre Dame a few weeks ago. This young man has come a long way after sitting out the 2000 season because of some academic issues. Fastest player on the team. That NCAA record right there.
Michigan State coaches said they had 5 clocks on him this summer, and he ran 4.25. That is fast.
First and 25. Overthrows Kavanaugh, and Sanders laid him out at the 32. Let's go to Reese.
Okay, Mark, and things just not getting any easier for Syracuse. Taking on Temple, tied up at 10. This is Mike McGann, plenty of time in the pocket. Going to flip it to Mackin and Fenton. One little move, and he takes it to the house. And the Owls up 17-10 deep in the fourth.
Hey, Temple enjoying a little bit of success. Second down and 25. Raymond Dowdell, the quarterback, in for Jeff Smoker. Woods in motion. Woods on the catch. He almost lost it. Let's go back one play and look at Bob Sanders putting the wood on the Spartans.
We talked about Iowa getting more aggressive on defense. This guy's always been aggressive. Where's 33? I'm looking for him right now. Here he comes. There's 33, Bob Sanders.
That receiver was
He
just
looked
ready to be starched, wasn't he? Let's go downstairs to Holly.
Guys, a year ago when Bob Sanders got his chance to start on defense, he really transformed the attitude of the defense. They used to call a hard hit a Sanders, and I asked him this year if they still do that. He said, no, everybody plays at that level now. Everybody's got a higher expectation.
Great report, Holly, and he is the standard by which the defense is measured now. He's the barometer. Here's Dowdell. Out of bounds at the 33-yard line. What does Michigan State do from here? Besides go to the airport, these teams coming up next.
The first thing you do, you don't worry about this. The rest of the schedule doesn't matter. You worry about one thing, and that's yourself, Michigan State. They got to get Michigan State off their own schedule because today they were their worst enemy. So it's not about getting ready for Minnesota. It's about Michigan State getting better themselves right now.
Last year they were able to rally late in the season, ended up going to a bowl game and winning in the bowl game, finishing on a positive note.
And they still can, Mark, because they're a talented football team, but they've got their work cut out for them because not much has gone well today.
Hinkle's going to let it bounce, and it doesn't go into the end zone. Stops at the 2, a 65-yard punt by the Californian Jason Daly. We're going to take a break. It's been all black and gold here in Iowa City. We'll be right back. Iowa leading 44-14 with 4:43 to play in the fourth quarter. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey and Holly Rowe. It has been all Hawkeyes all day, except for the opening drive of the ball game, which Michigan State took downfield and scored. But Iowa had a run of some 37 unanswered points from that point on, and it's first down and 10. Nathan Chandler has taken over quarterback for the starter Brad Banks. Chandler sneaks forward to the 5. What's up in Florida State, Miami, Reese?
Mark Ken Dorsey's had a dicey day at best, but he is a poised veteran, a leader, and he has his team on the march. Second and goal, down 13, finds Kevin Beard for the touchdown. And we're late, and we're close. 27-21, the Noles on top, and Pittsburgh handling things at Notre Dame so far. They're up by a field goal.
Hey, Bob, we were talking about it before. What about the way that Rod Rutherford has developed a quarterback, huh?
Saw his confidence in that second half against Texas A&M, way back the second game of the season.
2nd down and 7 for the Hawkeyes, looking to improve to 6-1 on the season. 3-0 in conference play. Mickens getting the carry, and they have a pretty impressive streak going coming into this game of having a 100-yard rusher in 9 consecutive games, featuring 4 different backs. But that streak in jeopardy right now. Russell on the sidelines with 75 yards, and the meter is stopped because I'm not sure that he would come back in.
He's done. He's done for the day. The only thing we can do right now is count Jermel Lewis's 94-yard touchdown run as a rush, and there may be a chance. But no, I think that streak's going to come to an end here today, Mark.
3rd down and 7. Lewis stopped up short of the 1st down at the 7-yard line, and they'll have to punt. And you can imagine that right now, all along the Head Mall and South Dubuque Street, outside the Sheridan Hotel at the Field House, the chicken wings are starting to cook right now, man. They are getting those honey hot barbecues ready and getting ready for a little bit of a celebration here in Iowa City.
It's all good right now on that sideline, Mark.
There is.
Look,
Brad Banks, the transfer from UCF, came to the school with high hopes, and those hopes being fulfilled right now, coming to fruition.
they've had so many close finishes that it has to be a good feeling for Iowa today, and they have really come together as a total football team.
They will have beaten Michigan State now 5 of the last 7 meetings. And this is a series that overall that has been pretty even. Remember that immediately following the game, it's the College Game Day scoreboard presented by Acura. And flip over to ESPN News if you want to catch a little post-game coverage of this one between Iowa and Michigan State. Iowa improving to 3-0 in Big Ten play, and who would have ever thought at the Big Ten meetings back earlier this summer when people were talking about who was going to win the conference, not many people figured that Iowa would be in this position right now.
Go back to Iowa's win in the Alamo Bowl, finishing strong last year, momentum late in the season.
Bradley going to run around, kill some time, and step out of bounds. Fans want him to throw it, but he'll do the wise thing. Take the safety.
That was interesting right there, wasn't it, Mark? It's 44-14.
How often does a punter get a chance to get the spotlight?
It was like the old Dean Smith 4-corner offense there for a second. They were playing zone. They wouldn't press him, wouldn't play man.
Looked like he was doing a hokey pokey back there. You know, that's one of the old famous dances here.
You're a lot more experienced than me and stuff like that. I'm not sure what that hokey pokey is, but
that's something that Hayden Fry started back
there. You go.
Iowa. And speaking of Hayden Fry, there's a look at the former head coach here. And what about the staff that he had put together here? And some guys have really moved on to wonderful things. Kirk Ferentz, one of them right there. Bill Snyder now at Kansas State. Dan McCarney just down the road at Iowa State. Bob Stoops. Pretty good graduates, huh?
That's impressive, isn't it, Mark? And one thing you know, this one right here, he's probably going to move up after today, Kirk Ferentz, because this has been an impressive display by Iowa.
I know earlier you looked at that OU-Texas game. I asked you, you said you like Texas a little bit in that game. I'm going to go the other way and go with the Boomer Sooner thing. 2:11 to go here in the 4th quarter in Iowa City.
Still a little surprised at taking a safety right there. That you wouldn't just punt that football away and see if Michigan State can make a play.
Kading now kicking into the wind. They'll hang it up high. Oh, this is live. An upset brewing in the Big Ten, Reese Davis. What's going on?
Smart Wisconsin had a 29-10 lead on the Hoosiers of Indiana, but DeBron Hamden bringing his team back in the fourth quarter, firing one great grab by Glenn Johnson. Two-point conversion's good. Hoosiers up by 3 late. Syracuse scored a touchdown against Temple and missed the extra point. The Owls by a single, half a minute left to go.
That would be huge for Jerry DiNardo to get that win at home against Wisconsin.
First down and 10. DiNardo in his first year as head coach there for the Hoosiers. Dowdell has a man and through the hands of his intended receiver. Incomplete. Kyle Brown, the intended receiver on the play. Take a look at some of the news and notes around the conference. You know, a lot of people talked about the Big Ten being down this year. I'm not sure that I really buy into it that much. When you look at the emerging success of teams like Iowa, Penn State, who has been a scoring machine in its own right this year, Bob.
See a lot of parity, Mark, and I know that P word's overused, but a lot of good offensive football teams in the Big Ten.
Dowdell complete to Richard. Brought down to the 38-yard line. And speaking of offense and points, a couple of great offensive teams going at it tonight. 7:45 Eastern time on ESPN College Football Saturday night, presented by the U.S. Postal Service. Number 15 LSU taking on number 16 Florida.
I have to ask you, talking about LSU Florida, Mike Godfrey and I had a discussion about overtime. Mike doesn't like college overtime. I happen to think it's the best thing that's happened in college football. So, are you with me or against me?
I'm with you on that one. I'd like to see the NFL change their overtime rules to the format of college football. At least each team gets an opportunity. And a big hit there on defense by Gray. You know, this Iowa defense has not let up today.
And this will be...
That's a symbol of good coaching.
It is, Mark. And it's also a symbol of guys love to get in there and get their chance to play some of these backups. But including today, it will be 7 straight games that Iowa has not had a 100-yard rusher against them. And once again, Norm Parker. Norm spoke to us yesterday. I thought Michigan State was going to score 100 today. The way he talked about Michigan State and their offense. But I think he was playing possum just a little bit.
He was saying, oh, boy, I hope it rains. I hope it pours. I hope it's windy.
Yeah.
I don't think he needed the help of the elements today.
Norm's going to enjoy it tonight, isn't he, Mark?
Bearcats called by Hinkle back at the 20 with 34 seconds to play. Don't forget, coming up next, the Queen Elizabeth Stakes from Woodbine Racetrack in Toronto, Ontario. That's coming up next. As the Iowa Hawkeyes on the verge of improving to 6-1, and Charles Rogers will see his streak of 13 consecutive regular season games with a touchdown come to an end. And Brad Banks and his crew will be walking on Ped Mall tonight with their chests all swollen with pride.
We were down there before the game. Those fans are right on top of you behind that bench at Iowa. And it is all happy and all good right now because the Hawkeyes put on a show today.
Well, this one is cooked, glazed, and ready to be sliced as Iowa wins it 44-16. Tough day for Jeff Smoker, but a great day for the Iowa defense, especially the secondary, coming in ranked one of the lower defenses against the pass. 44-16 the final score. Horse racing coming up next. For Bob Davey and Holly Rowe, I'm Mark Jones saying so long from area code 319. Right now, let's go to horse racing.
First down at the 41. Blitz coming from the corner. Ricks in trouble. The blitz got to him, but he threw it anyway, and Gardner comes down with it. Tolman Gardner.
Unbelievable. He should have been sacked, and he completes it. They're in field goal range from 42 yards.
Under a minute. If you want to hire a Gardner, I'd get number 21. At the 25-yard line, it's a first down. Already in field goal range. And right now, they might just play this to get in the middle of the field, although Ricks is in the gun.
I think they start running it now. Maybe a quarterback draw.
get it between the hash marks. Cutting outside. Vilma's got Maddox wrapped up, though, at the line of scrimmage. And now 25, 24. Clock winding down.
You can't stop the clock.
Miami stops it. Miami stops it. They take a timeout.
Yeah, that's good. That's good thinking.
So everybody gets a breather at the 25-yard line. And that includes my partner and I. We know Swanee's been through 2 or 3 shirts as we look back to the last time Miami lost at home. Penn State was the opponent. And you remember this pass. And off to the races on that long ball, 27-23. But since that time, it's been 27 straight victories. And Bob, the whole thing's in jeopardy right now. They talked about we want a second ring. Kenny Dorsey told us, you know what, I don't even know where mine is. Because we want to win a second one. It's very much in jeopardy right now.
Well, the whole thing in this series is going to come down again to a field goal.
And we've seen what happened
before. He's going to make it or he's going to miss it. It's going to come down to a field goal. And this whole drive was set up by a poor punt.
Florida State, by the way, has a bye week next week before playing Notre Dame in Tallahassee. And if they win this game, how big will that one be? Second down. Hand off to Jones. Try to cover the ball and get more to the middle of the field. He didn't get anything.
Yeah, Miami took time out to conserve some time in case they made the field goal.
Now they got to hustle. They've got to get the spike. Miami's not getting up off the bottom of the pile. Ricks is trying to get to the line. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. He spikes it with 1 second left in the game. They just barely got the play off, and here comes the field goal unit.
That was way too lackadaisical.
Miami wasn't helping the cause. Obviously, they were in no hurry to get up. So now it's all on the right foot of number 47. Xavier Beitia from Tampa. He's on the Groza list. These are the kind of kicks that win you the Groza Trophy. This for the win for Florida State to upset Miami from 43 yards away. For the win, the kick on the way. He missed it. Wide left. So many times, and when it came down to dethroning a champion, it was wide left. Sadly, no one should have lost this game.
It looked like the snap was a little bit low. Take a look. Yeah, he had a little trouble, but that's all right.
And then the field covered with Miami fans as we head down to Lynn Swan.
Well, Brad, Bob, unbelievable. Coach Larry Coker, you got a little bit of history in this matchup yourself now.
Well, no doubt about it. I thought 2 years ago was one of the greatest games I've ever been around. I don't know if anything will ever surpass this. A great effort by Florida State. Great coaching job by their coaches, and we didn't play as well as we needed to, but I guarantee our kids fought hard, they played hard, found a way to win in the end.
Last year, your team dodged a couple of bullets against Boston College and Virginia Tech. This might be another one of those bullets.
Well, this was more of a missile. They're an awfully talented team. They gave us their best shot. We knew that. They played a great football game. They've got great talent, and it was just a great win for us.
Your quarterback was a little bit off today throwing the football, but on that last drive, he just put 2 plays together, made it all happen.
Well, really stepped it up, and I thought we needed to make some plays. We didn't. We had some foolish penalties that really kept their drives alive. And give them credit, they did a terrific job running the football.
Tremendous football game, Coach.
Great
Congratulations.
Thanks, Lynn.
Brad?
The moral of the story, don't ever invite Florida State to be your homecoming date because they might go home with somebody else. but they didn't. Miami survives it 28-27. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Keyword ABC Sports. Stay tuned for more great college football. Texas and Oklahoma. Some of you'll see Penn State and Michigan or UCLA and Oregon. For Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan, and our ABC crew, Brad Nessler from the Orange Bowl, what a ball game. See you next week.